her lover met back in July through their kids who play together.
So, Eric, she made her first court appearance earlier today. What did they discuss there?
So, Jeff, it was about whether or not Gledhill would be allowed to see her 3 children. She was dressed in blue prison uniform, and I saw her wipe tears from her eyes as the state's attorney, Chantel Argyle, argued their concern for her children's safety.
We have concerns where we have had similar case scenarios where the minor children have later been attacked or murdered by the defendant.
Gledhill's attorney called the move heavy-handed by the state, pointing out that children ages 11, 7, and 5 aren't listed as alleged victims. Judge Scott Matheson granted the protective order as of today until the case moves forward and the next judge decides. Reporting live, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Thanks, Eric. And police are looking near Farmington Bay today for the body of Gledhill's husband. KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas says it's important to find Matthew Johnson's remains, but yes, they can still have a murder trial even without a body.
The government needs to prove its case, what we call beyond a reasonable doubt, so they can put on circumstantial evidence of his death, such as blood found at the scene, such as the fact that no one has seen or heard from him in over a month, and by the time it gets to trial, it will be well over a year. And the fact that he would have maintained communication with certain individuals and done certain things.
Greg says the statements she made against her husband were also very incriminating. KSL News Time 3:02 Salt Lake City police say a person was shot this morning near 7th West and Jackson Avenue. The victim was taken to the hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. There was some sort of argument among a group of people that led to the shooting. Several people have been detained. Children in the Turpin family who were abused by 2 sets of parents are calling for change. Maria Chaleos is live at the KSL National News Desk.
Jeff, their foster parents were sentenced on child abuse charges last week. Now today the children are reacting through their lawyers like Elon Zexer.
What happened in that home was worse than what happened in their biological parents' home. The abuse that they suffered, psychologically, physically.
The victims say Riverside County, Child Protective Services, and others should be held accountable. A Texas legislative committee today hearing testimony on behalf of an autistic man facing execution for the death of his 2-year-old daughter. Supporters of Robert Robertson insist that his 2003 conviction was based on the now discredited theory of shaken baby syndrome, and they claim the Texas junk science law should have exonerated him. Celebrity psychologist Dr. Phil McGraw interviewed Robertson.
I am 100% convinced that we're facing a miscarriage of justice here.
If executed, Robertson would be the first person in U.S. history to be put to death over a murder conviction based on shaken baby case. Israel says it's planning to carry out more strikes in Lebanon against Hezbollah-run financial institutions. It says the militant group uses the deposits of Lebanese people to finance rocket attacks against Israel. Israeli forces have struck nearly a dozen branches of the institution. One strike flattened a 9-story building in Beirut. Live from the KSL National News Desk, I'm Maria Chaleos, KSL News Radio.
There have been 13 big food recalls so far this month, the latest affecting frozen waffles sold under many different brand names. USU food safety specialist Jose Brandao says if your food is recalled, do not hesitate. Toss it out.
There is no middle point in food safety. When you have a recall, especially with bacteria like E. coli, Listeria, or Salmonella, that can be really dangerous.
Brandao told David Dujanovic that freezing or cooking recalled foods does not ensure their safety. Well, it is this lovely day here with more such days on the way, but if we keep this up, it could result in drought. KSL News Radio's Adam Small with details.
KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says we have time to turn things around, but if we stay this dry into mid-December, we'll likely lose some of our spring runoff to the ground since most of the state is already considered abnormally dry by the U.S. Drought Monitor. Nearly a quarter of the state is now in drought status. Matt thinks we will hit our rain and snow averages for the next several months, but it's still too early to be 100% sure.
Our best chance for a storm comes next week. Meantime, more of the same right through this week. KSL News Time 3:06. Monday rush hour. First look traffic is here. Ricky Meese, what's going on?
Already a little bit of heavy and slow traffic northbound I-15 leaving Clearfield and southbound I-15 headed into Midvale, and an accident reported 4800 west, 4100 south. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Thanks, Ricky. Happy Monday. My Minute of News is on the way next. Stay right here.
Jazz games at Delta Center are unforgettable. From the atmosphere, the crowd noise, and of course, the electrifying on-court action. With ticket plans, you can go to as many as 11 games this season. Choose from packages like the All-Star Plan, Weekend Plan, or the Western Rivals Plan, and get what works for you. Come cheer on the Jazz and get your ticket package at utahjazz.com.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and there's a good chance you've heard me talking about our free furnace sale. The one where you buy a new air conditioner and we give you a new furnace for just the cost to install it, about $400. Well, we still have a few more spots on our schedule we need to fill, so I'm extending the sale, but I'm not quite sure for how much longer. Definitely no later than the end of October. And once I think our schedule's full enough, I got to pull these ads. So don't wait too long to call and schedule your free estimate. The main reason we do this sale is to give you an incentive to help us keep our guys busy when the weather's mild. And thanks to your help, we're able to keep our guys and keep growing. So if your furnace and air conditioner are ready to be replaced, you owe it to yourself to at least schedule a free estimate and get all the details about our free furnace sale. Just to recap, when you have Any Hour Services install a new air conditioner, we'll give you a new furnace for just the cost to install it. About $400. The furnace is free, you just pay the labor. If you think you might be interested, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Spend your workday with a talk show that makes you feel better about the news.
Debbie is the voice of reason, and Dave reminds me of my little brother. Well-spoken, and they're a great team together.
Dave and Debbie, live from 9 to noon, or podcast the show on the app for KSL News Radio.
This is My Minute of News, brought to you by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air, anyhourservices.com. When I leave the state and curious people ask me about Utah, which they assume is a weird place, I get these bizarre questions like, what do they eat? So I want to mention a state dish, and I'm debating with myself, do I go with funeral potatoes, Jell-O, or do I hit them with the dirty soda this time, which requires you to explain the ingredients? Well, you start with Diet Coke, add the coconut, the lime, and then you have to explain why we guzzle, sip, and chug these concoctions to slake our thirst. Too much work, so I go with Jell-O every time. I was back east a couple of weeks ago, and I found something strange, something weird, something I never realized about them. Back east, their Halloween game is weak. There are a few people with their lawns decorated and homes that are, a couple of pumpkins, a sign that says boo. This trip I noticed, and I'm like, is that all you got? Folks, I live in the land straight out of Nightmare Before Christmas. It's like Friday the 13th and the Upside Down put together. Homes become graveyards. Yards host the undead. Skelly from Home Depot is everywhere. In Utah, we invite the fright. And the statistics bear me out. Utah spends more per household on Halloween than any other state in the country, more on decorations, more on candy. We also spend more on Jell-O, which this time of year includes Jell-O cured in molds shaped like jiggling human brains. This is Halloween. In Utah, we own October. So raise your dirty soda up high and toast the scariest state in America. Till Pennsylvania on Election Day.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
Yeah, there's that. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Ricky Meese.
We do have traffic a little bit lighter than normal, but still getting busy and a little slow. Southbound I-15 at the South Interchange on the way to Midvale at 7200 South. That's a normal chokehold that everybody has to try to get through that merge area. But then right after that, you're back to the posted limit and stay that way all the way to Provo. The rest of your Salt Lake County freeways, not bad at all, no accidents. Traffic is already getting a little slow going through the construction westbound on the 201, passing I-215 on the way to Bangor. And we have an accident in the Taylorsville West Valley area, 4800 west, 4100 south. Steve?
Well, nothing to slow you down just yet. Northbound 15 between downtown and Layton, but we do have some delays there between Clearfield and Roy. Northbound Highway 89 is also filling in at SR 193, but so far so good if you're on the 215 westbound or Legacy between I-80 and Park Lane in Farmington. Thank you to generous donors who helped make BYU's Giving Cougs Day the biggest ever, providing scholarships and inspiring learning experiences for deserving BYU students. To see how they did, visit the BYU Giving Cougs Day website. Steve Carlson in the KSL Traffic Center.
Blue skies today with some high wispy clouds possible. Temperatures right around 70 degrees. Overnight, dipping off to a crispy 49 degrees. 72 tomorrow, sunny skies. Mostly sunny and 75 by Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
We've slipped to 68 degrees in Salt Lake City. We're streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com or live on the KSL News Radio app. This is Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. I think the team at Advanced Window Products should sign their windows like an artist does, because on that factory floor, they're like artists. Skilled artisans who've spent years perfecting the art of creating custom windows and frames, and they've been doing it right here at their facility in Salt Lake City for 38 years. For you, it means they'll create sealed double-pane windows with insulated frames in any style, any color, the best security features for your family. They'll give your home a fresh new look, and there's another benefit. Since they are the factory, there's no middleman, and you get a better price on the highest quality windows. They do the actual install themselves, and they guarantee their work for life. Got a problem? They're right here in Salt Lake City to take care of you. That's Advanced Window Products, and this is their special offer. Take $2,500 off your quote on 10 windows or more. But you have to call them 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Meet Brian. He just got $5,000, and it was pretty easy. I'll tell you how in 10 seconds. Brian needed cash help. After being rejected by banks, he tried 27cash.com. Told them how much he needed, even let them know he had bad credit. In minutes, 27cash.com found a lender who deposited $5,000 into his bank account the very next day. If you need cash help, even if you have bad credit, go to 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Inside Sources with Boyd Matheson.
Our goal every day on Inside Sources is to help you divide the rage from the reason, elevate the conversation, connect the dots, and make the news make sense in your world. We have conversations with great thinkers, with great leaders, and great people who are just out there making a difference in the world. Now, we do talk about politics, but only so we can discuss society and culture. And then we explore society and culture so we can discuss principles and the people in America and the state of Utah who actually live them and apply them every day. We bring the best and brightest minds to the state of Utah, and we love to take the Utah model and send it out to our nation's capital and beyond. Every day on Inside Sources, you'll be part of that conversation. To help you understand things in a different way, we'll get you to think again about what you think you know, but most important, we're going to help you have confidence to have crucial conversations in your community and in your own home.
Join Inside Sources with Boyd Matheson, 1 to 3 on KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 3:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
Utah soil is continuing to dry out with another stretch of warm, dry weather on tap, and one forecaster says if we don't start seeing a change soon, it could cost us some water come springtime. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, Girl Scouts here in Utah will have to pay more to become a member after the National Council voted to raise fees from $25 to $65. Third, our biggest traffic trouble spot.
It's a new crash in West Valley, southbound Bangerter Highway, about 2500 south, not far from Parkway Boulevard, and they are blocking right lanes of travel. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly sunny today with a high of 70 and more 70s to follow. I'm Matt Johnson.
We're at 68 of the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios now. Our top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Lindsay Davis, anchor of Prime, streaming weeknights on ABC News Live. Election day now just 15 days away. Former President Trump in North Carolina for a rally and faith conference. He also got a first-hand look at damage from Hurricane Helene. Ahead of his visit, Governor Roy Cooper urged the former president not to spread misinformation about recovery efforts.
To truly help people, we must check party politics at the door.
Despite that, the former president then pushed false claims that FEMA has misdirected disaster funding.
They've spent it on illegal migrants.
Vice President Kamala Harris campaigning in the battleground states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney joined Harris on the campaign trail in Chester, Pennsylvania.
Every one of us in this election has a duty and an obligation to do what we know is right for the country. And that's to support Vice President Harris.
Cheney says this year will mark the first time she has cast her vote for a Democrat in a presidential election. An investigation is underway into the purported leak of what appears to be U.S. intelligence on possible Israeli plans to retaliate against Iran. ABC News has not independently verified the authenticity of the documents. ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge reports from Israel.
The documents posted online appear to show classified U.S. intelligence gathering on Israel's preparations for a potential retaliatory strike against Iran, apparently detailing types and numbers of missiles that Israel may be readying.
White House officials say there's still no indication as to whether the release of classified documents on Israel's retaliation plans were leaked or hacked. The White House is proposing a new rule under the Affordable Care Act aimed at increasing insurance coverage of over-the-counter birth control. If finalized, it would allow women for the first time to obtain over-the-counter contraception, including pills and condoms without a prescription and without a copayment. Today, the Dow slipped 344 points. You're listening to ABC News.
And now the in-depth on KSL. Well, we're launching a new podcast starting Wednesday. It's called Making of a Moment. Season 1 features the Real Salt Lake soccer team, the host of the show. Amy Donaldson is joining us live now. Amy, Making of a Moment, what is this podcast about? What's the idea?
Well, the idea is we have these sports moments, these kind of iconic communal experiences, and we all take either what we want or we think we kind of understand it. And my question was, what if you knew what really went into that moment, sort of all the ugly and the beauty? And would that change it for you? Because in sports, we tend to sort of reduce things down to cliches and get involved in myth-making. And I think at times in my sports career, that's really robbed us of this opportunity to learn more about ourselves and sort of learn from these athletic achievements.
I don't know if it's giving it away. What is the moment being made as you go through Real Salt Lake?
It's definitely not giving it away. It's the 2021 playoff run. And at first I was just going to do a podcast about that sort of unlikely playoff run. But as I started doing the reporting, I realized there were a lot of things that led to this team being in this place at this time that really went beyond sports. And there were a lot of things coming out of COVID, some disconnection, some changes in our lifestyles. And I really wanted to show that moment with all of its context and then see, does that make the moment more meaningful for you? Does it make that playoff run more meaningful for you? Or does it change it in any way?
So the podcast drops Wednesday. And I think the preview launch party is today.
Yeah, we're having a big party out at America First Stadium, 6:30 to 8:30. If you come, you can, in addition to getting some free food and hearing a great panel discussion from some of those involved in the podcast, and I think there's some giveaways, but you can also get a sneak peek at episode 1.
Awesome. So what have you learned through researching this season of the podcast?
I have learned that it's what we learn as journalists, right? There's never, the more you know, the less you know. And I think the thing I've learned is that there's so much more about sports and about the challenges we face that there are commonalities that we could learn. And it's the reason that when we watch the most unathletic among us, as we watch a sports team or an athlete have an amazing moment, it's why we feel like we own a little piece of that. It brings us some sense of accomplishment and joy and connection. And I think that the other thing I've learned is that, you know, understanding how moments become reality actually gives us an opportunity to do some introspection in our own life and create some special moments for ourselves.
Well, we all know that the more you know, the less you know. Or do we know that? Making of a Moment, that's the podcast. Where do you find it, Amy?
You can go to makingofamomentpod.com. That's our website, and you can find it on any of your favorite podcast apps, Making of a Moment.
Amy Donaldson, our KSL producer of podcasts. 321 at KSL. Now traffic and weather together. Brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Ricky Meese.
We have emergency crews on the scene of this accident in West Valley. Southbound Bangor Parkway and Bangor Highway near Parkway Boulevard. The crash is actually at about 2500 south. Two right lanes are blocked, and it is starting to back traffic to about California Avenue. Now, southbound I-15, a little heavy and slow, 2100 south at the I-80-201 junction, but most of the heavier traffic is waiting for you between 53rd and 7200 south. We're okay on the rest of your Salt Lake County freeways and on I-15 in Utah County. We do have the cleanup of the crash at 4100 south, 4800 west. Steve?
Looks like southbound Foothill Drive getting busy a little bit from Sunnyside Avenue out to Foothill Village. Northbound I-15 rolling along, no issues. Got good speeds between downtown SLC into Davis County. Then some delays Clearfield up to Roy, and some thicker traffic on northbound Highway 89 approaching I-84. Teens can get up to $200 with a Teen Learn and Earn account. Plus continue earning rewards as they master the essentials of finance. More information at cypresscu.com/teen. Steve Carlson in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, not really what we need. More high pressure. Mostly sunny today with a high of 70 degrees. We jump to 72 tomorrow, sunshine. Blue skies with some high wispy clouds passing. That's Wednesday with a high of 75. Cooling at 69 with a shallow cool front Thursday, but not much with it. Partly cloudy, 73 on Friday. We keep it in the low 70s for Saturday and Sunday with just a couple of clouds. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Your 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful, 69 degrees. We'll check the market close.
Jeff
next.
Kaplan's Afternoon News, only on KSL News Radio.
Attention Utah professionals. Join us at the Utah Business Forward event on November 20th, 2024 at the Grand America Hotel. Learn from successful Utah leaders, including Kurt Doman of Progressive Leasing and U of U women's basketball coach Lynn Roberts. Dive into breakout sessions on entrepreneurship, people and culture, acquisitions, AI, brand marketing, and strategic leadership. Don't miss this opportunity to connect and grow. Visit forward.utahbusiness.com to register today.
Imagine a currency that has true value, a currency that's local, protects your wealth, and resists inflation. Now imagine that currency is anchored to the stability of gold. Introducing Goldbacks, a currency made of 24-karat gold, accepted at over 800 businesses in Utah. Don't just imagine it. Visit alpinegold.com to start spending in gold. Use promo code RADIO to get free shipping on orders of over $200 or more.
How do you know that Salt Lake County Mayor Jenny Wilson has protected our tax dollars? Because not only has every one of her budgets been balanced and passed with bipartisan support, but Jenny has made tough choices and maintained Salt Lake County's elite AAA bond rating with all three ratings agencies. Only 1% of American counties can say that. That saves you money. Mayor Wilson knows the cost of living in Utah is too high. Jenny is a common-sense public servant focused on one thing: fighting for Salt Lake County families.
I'm Salt Lake County Mayor Jenny Wilson. I made our rec centers free for kids because so many Salt Lake families are struggling to make ends meet. Between inflation, shrinkflation, and the housing market, cost of living in Utah is out of control. As your county mayor, I'm trying to make things a little easier for you and your family. As a mom, I also know our rec centers are a great way of getting kids off the couch and away from their screens. Let's keep working together to make Salt Lake County a better and more affordable place to live. Paid for by Wilson for Mayor.
Stay warm and worry-free this winter with Gillette Services. Call 385-GET-HEAT now.
A Carrier factory authorized dealer.
We're watching Utah's money. Disney has chosen its next board chair. Fourth one in 3 years. Next to sit at the head of the table, Morgan Stanley's CEO, James Gorman, starting next year. Disney's next step is to announce a new CEO to replace Bob Iger come 2026. Wall Street today, the Dow down 344 points. It closed at 42,931. The S&P down 10, the NASDAQ losing 50 points.
In a world where ugly siding, leaky gutters, and inefficient windows are sapping homeowners of their will to live, one company must save us all. This year, join RGS Exteriors as it embarks on a mission to eliminate outdated home exteriors, one Utah home at a time. Every plank of old, ugly siding must be replaced. Every leaky gutter must be eradicated. Every inefficient, energy-sapping window must be vanquished once and for all. Begin your epic remodeling quest by calling RGS Exteriors for a free estimate. Discover how a heroic team of experts will save your siding, gutters, or windows for a fair, no-nonsense price. Call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or journey online to rgsexteriors.com. RGS Exteriors, coming soon to a home near you.
Hey, it's Michael Smirkanish. Business owners and CMOs, how do you plan on growing your business? Have you plateaued on your social media and online efforts? Why not tap into podcasts and radio? In the U.S., audio reaches more than 271 million people weekly. That's more than social media and digital combined. My friends at Radioactive Media know the recipe to launch, optimize, and scale performance by building compelling audio campaigns which work. I personally know the principles of Radioactive Media, their personal approach and knowledge of the medium, unparalleled. For advertisers who want to reach the right audience with the right hosts and programs, text the word profits to 511-511. Heck, you can even buy spots on my program. If you're a mid-sized company or well-funded startup with a monthly budget as low as 5 figures, they can help. Text the word profits to 511-511. Online, radioactivemedia.com. Text rates may apply.
Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
Fall's right on time.
No freeze warnings, but it's going to be very, very cold overnight in many of those higher elevations.
Days are shorter and nights are cooler. Better to just roll with it. Get an updated KSL forecast every time you jump in the car. Just pop on KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Ricky Meese.
We still have crews working on this accident southbound Bangerter Highway, approximately 2500 south. 2 right lanes are blocked, and that means we have delays back to California Avenue. For those traveling southbound I-15, it is a little heavy and slow at about 2100 south, but back to a good speed limit by the time you're at 33rd south. And then we have our usual slowing between 53rd and 72nd. Looking good after that all the way to Provo. Steve?
Right now, southbound Foothill Drive, a little busy by the golf course, heading to Foothill Village. Northbound 15 rolling at full speeds. No problems from downtown Salt Lake City. Davis County delays, though, waiting for you from Clearfield up to Roy, and thick traffic slowdowns on northbound 89 now from SR 193. There are 1,000 people homeless who remain unsheltered every night, sleeping on the streets. You can help by helping the Rescue Mission of Salt Lake restore lives. Visit rescuesaltlake.org. Steve Carlson, the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, I've got mostly sunny skies today with a high of 70 degrees. Should be rather pleasant, but moments where it could feel chilly. 49 overnight, mostly clear skies. 72 tomorrow, more sunshine. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
You're listening to Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM
and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon, 3:30 at KSL. Jeff Kaplan here. 69 degrees, KSL's top story. The bleak reality of the local restaurant scene. Sit-down restaurants are still struggling, and more than a few are closing while waiting for a post-pandemic bounce back. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson with details.
Hit hardest by the pandemic, and they haven't been able to catch a break since. President and CEO of the Utah Restaurant Association, Melva Sine, says restaurant owners are seeing 15 to 32% cost increases in every area, and customer percentages are below any of those increases. And this has meant an end to many of our favorite local Utah eateries.
Stanza, SLC Eatery, and at least a dozen more have shut their doors for good. There could be a new option for Trax riders. Utah's considering 4 different ways to construct the new Orange Line. So where's this Orange Line going to take you?
Run from Research Park up by the University of Utah out all the way to the Salt Lake City International Airport through the downtown area.
UTA spokesman Aaron Bruff says UTA will choose a plan by the end of the year and have the $390 million Trax line ready in time for the 2034 Olympics. Inflation is even hitting the Girl Scouts. They're raising the membership fee for the first time in 8 years. KSL News Radio's Claire Scott with the story.
The Girl Scouts of Utah say the higher fee will not be immediate. They are phasing the payment so members pay $45 for the 2026 year before it jumps to the approved fee of $65 in 2027. The State Council says the membership dues will help them serve their current communities and reach out to new families. Local Girl Scout leaders say that if families are worried about the price, they can apply for financial aid through the Girl Scouts of Utah.
There are 2.5 million Girl Scouts nationwide. Vice President Kamala Harris today appealing to Republicans to vote for her instead of him. Maria Chaleos is live at the KSL National News Desk.
Jeff, Vice President Harris and former Congresswoman Liz Cheney appearing at a town hall in Pennsylvania.
There are moments in the history of our country which challenge us, each of us, to really decide, do we stand for those things that we talk about, including in particular country over party.
Liz Cheney, a Republican, has endorsed Harris, calling Trump a threat to U.S. democracy. Meantime, former President Trump was in North Carolina, once again criticizing Governor Roy Cooper and the federal hurricane response.
I'm not hearing that he's done a very good job. And certainly you have all heard the same stories that we all hear, that FEMA has done a very poor job.
Mr. Trump repeating the falsehood that the response was hampered because FEMA spent its budget helping people who cross the border illegally. During her daily briefing, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre outlining the federal response in North Carolina.
In total, nearly $2 billion in federal assistance has been approved for those affected by recent storms. In North Carolina, the administration has approved more than $300 million in assistance.
Governor Roy Cooper today saying that he's concerned about the misinformation being spread.
Storm recovery cannot be partisan. To truly help people, we must check party politics at the door and get this job done.
Live from the KSL National News Desk, I'm Maria Chaleos, KSL News Radio.
You know, a late October attack or a smear campaign on a political opponent might not do much because millions of ballots have already been sent in all over the country. KSL at Night host Adam Gardner tells David Dujanovic states are seeing record numbers.
It looks like in the swing states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Democrats are voting at a much greater numbers than Republicans. So that should be concerning to Republicans. In Pennsylvania, Democrats, 64% of those that have turned in ballots are Democrats. Only 27% are Republicans. The only swing state that really is good news for Republicans is in Arizona, where 43% of Republicans have turned in their ballot and 36% of those turning in their ballot are Democrats.
KSL at Night host Adam Gardner. It's 3:34. So the landlord decided not to renew her lease, and then somebody decided to burn that Eagle Mountain home to the ground. There's now a warrant for the arrest of the tenant, 45-year-old Chantel Desiree Jones. Police believe she's fled the state. This same woman was already part of a federal lawsuit against the Saratoga Springs police, claiming that an officer there sexually assaulted her, and the city covered it up. KSL News Time 3:35. The toxicology report is back. One Direction star Liam Payne had some dangerous drugs in his system when he died.
Sources tell ABC News that multiple substances were found in Payne's system, including pink cocaine, a popular but potentially dangerous party drug, cocaine, benzodiazepine, and crack. An improvised aluminum pipe to ingest was also found in his hotel room. His body will remain in Argentina until the autopsy is complete. The night of Payne's death, hotel officials called authorities to report that he was behaving erratically. He tragically plunged to his death from a balcony.
ABC's Ariel Reshef reporting there. KSL News Time, 3:35. And now my mortal enemy, Ricky Meese, is here.
No, don't say that.
Okay, but it's because we have the baseball.
We do.
Dodgers and Yankees, our teams, head to head.
I know. And I took flack this season. People say, what's wrong with your Dodgers? And I'm like, and here they are at the big game. So congratulations to the Yankees. But yeah, historic, Jeff, historic.
We get to sit around for a week. The World Series doesn't start till Friday night.
I know. But you know what? It's going to be great.
Okay.
Go Dodgers.
But that's 10 rush hours away. So right now, what's going on?
Well, the good news is the crews have cleaned up the crash in Farmington on State Street, but the crews in West Valley have not. The accident is southbound Bangerter Highway, about 2500 south, and those two right lanes are still blocked to traffic. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
And my minute of news is on the way next.
Hey, this is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. Let me tell you an amazing story. Last week, a customer came in. They were a creative director for an agency, and they were frustrated that their old, slow computer wasn't processing their files quick enough. He had a big project due and could not afford any delays. Well, we hooked him up with one of our new, powerful 2025 desktops for only $999, and he was able to complete his project with ease. Take one home today. The new 2025 S1 desktop or SM3 laptop for only $999. You heard that right, $999. You get a blazing fast processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing storage for $999. What else do you get? Lifetime service warranty, and we have 12 months special financing on approved credit. Hurry in right now because supplies are limited, because at PC Laptops, we love you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. $999, PCLaptops.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is My Minute of News, brought to you by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air, anyhourservices.com. I think we can safely assume Donald Trump doesn't sing Taylor Swift songs in the shower. After her endorsement of Kamala Harris, he posted, "I hate Taylor Swift."
She's a very liberal person. She seems to always endorse a Democrat, and she'll probably pay a price for it in the marketplace.
But there was a time when Trump apparently liked her enough to blast her music in his car. This audio is from a Facebook video of Donald Trump driving his Rolls Royce. It's shot from inside the car, Barron's in the passenger seat, and the song blasting is Blank Space by Taylor Swift. The video ends like that. Presumably, Taylor Swift is now banned from the Trump Rolls Royce as the pundits debate Taylor Swift's impact on the election.
Is it possible that she could have more of an impact as a celebrity endorser than we've seen in the past? I think that's certainly possible.
They point out nearly 500,000 of her fans flocked to a voter registration website right after that endorsement, and some fans have gone much, much farther. In critical Pennsylvania, the Wall Street Journal reports Swifties have been making friendship bracelets by the thousands. They bear phrases like Miss America Kamala, The bracelets are left at places like Target for free right by the Taylor Swift display. Meantime, Swifties are raising hundreds of thousands of dollars for Kamala Harris. But will it sway the election? There's no evidence Taylor Swift has convinced anyone to change sides. Lots of people love her music and ignore her politics, but she could light a fuse in some fans who wouldn't have bothered to vote otherwise. Maybe, maybe not, but as the polls show in this one, every vote counts.
And I'll write your name.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Ricky Meese.
The crash on Bangerter going southbound at about 2500 South. They've managed to move some of the vehicles out of traffic, but one right lane is still blocked. So this is not far from Parkway Boulevard. And so we still have southbound delays backed up to California Avenue. Southbound I-15 traffic filling in and slowing down between 4500 and 7200 South. And then again in Sandy on the way to Draper. But northbound I-15, a little bit of unusual slowing going from Murray to South Salt Lake with traffic getting busy there. Southbound Mountain View, heavy and slow from the 201 junction to 3500 South. All clear on I-15 in Utah County. Steve?
Fresh crash right now on 3rd West at 18th South in Salt Lake. Southbound Foothill Drive, a little busy from Sunnyside down to Foothill Village. Northbound 15 off to a good start this afternoon. No crashes, good speeds from downtown into Davis County. Just a bit thick from Clearfield up to Roy. And some thick traffic. Slowdowns, northbound 89 approaching I-84 from SR 193. When you choose Performance Automotive in Bountiful, you're choosing exceptional service from Ford dealers, Performance Ford Lincoln, Performance Honda, Performance Toyota, and Truck Country. See PerformanceBountiful.com. Steve Carlson in the KSL Traffic Center.
We love seeing the valley rain and mountain snow over the weekend, but now it's time for more quiet weather. I've got 70 today, mostly sunny skies, 49 overnight, clear skies. Tomorrow, blue skies, 72, high pressure building back, pushing us to 75 by Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now in Salt Lake City, we're at 69 degrees. We're streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com. We're live on the KSL News Radio app. This is Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. It's 342.
A brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath. It's all about time.
3 days or less
at 3-day kitchen and bath.
It's about time someone offered you a complete custom bathroom designed for stylish independent living in just 3 days. It's about time someone offered you a written, unconditional 100% satisfaction guarantee on both their quality and craftsmanship. It's about time someone helped you design a safe and stylish bathroom with the luxury of a walk-in tub or the convenience of an easy entry shower. Whether you have an immediate safety need or you just want to prepare for an independent future in your own home, check them out on the web at 3daykitchen.com or call 3-Day Kitchen and Bath for your free design consultation today. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. It's about time.
It's about time.
3 days or less
at 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Utah, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Mom and Dad used to argue about everything, especially about Dad's drinking. It drove me crazy. It got so bad, I couldn't do my homework. I couldn't concentrate. I absolutely refused to let any of my friends come to our house for any reason. I would have been humiliated if anyone found out how much my dad drank and how loud my mom screamed at him. My family went from totally crazy to quiet, calm, and even peaceful. The only thing that happened is my mom started going to Al-Anon family groups. Her relationship with my dad really changed. I asked Mom if she would take me to her Al-Anon meetings or to Alateen. I wanted to see if I could have a better relationship with my dad. I'm sure glad I did. Is someone's drinking troubling you? You might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
KSL News Time 3:45. The three things you need to know this hour first.
UTA is still finalizing plans, but it's pushing for a new tracks line that could be built in time for the 2034 Winter Olympics. It would be called the Orange Line. I'm KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi.
Second, new documents show the Cottonwood Heights woman accused of murdering her husband in his sleep went to police the day before he died. She was covered in bruises, claiming he had abused her. Third, our biggest traffic trouble spot.
A right lane blocked with an accident southbound Bangerter Highway, about 2500 south, backing traffic to California Avenue, and Salt Lake City PD wrapping up a crash at 3rd West and 1800 south. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
With high pressure building over the west, we could see more quiet weather. I'm Matt Johnson.
70 at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Now our top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. Just over 2 weeks until Election Day and before rallying voters alongside former Republican Representative Liz Cheney, Vice President Kamala Harris previewing her message about January 6th.
In America, in a democracy, we should have no room for, nor should we ever condone any form of political violence. In a democracy, people will debate, people will disagree, but not resort to violence.
Former President Trump campaigning at a North Carolina region devastated by Hurricane Helene, repeating the false claim that FEMA money was short because it was spent on illegal migrants, then saying,
On January 20th, you're going to have, I think, a new crew coming in to do it properly and help you in a proper manner.
Biden administration proposing a new rule under the Affordable Care Act aimed at increasing insurance coverage of over-the-counter birth control. There would be no copayment. On Wall Street, the Dow fell 344 points. This is ABC News.
And now the in-depth on KSL. A death row inmate in Texas wasn't supposed to be alive this afternoon, but Robert Roberson was spared a lethal injection by the Texas state legislature. And we note Republicans and Democrats alike. ABC News legal analyst Royal Oakes joins us live. Royal, good to talk to you. It is rare that state lawmakers would step in over an execution. First of all, why?
How weird is this? Well, because there's a law in Texas that says if you have a conviction on your record as a result of junk science, misuse of DNA, or in this case, the idea that, well, the shaken baby syndrome caused the death of the baby, and that has now been discredited by a lot of doctors. If you are such a victim, you're entitled to have your conviction overturned. But how bizarre, Jeff, when you're on death row and your execution is approaching, and you say to the warden, "Oh, I'd like you to execute me today, but they want me in Austin to testify about the shaken baby syndrome." It was just weird. But of course, now they prevented him from leaving the prison, so it's up in the air as to whether he's going to testify or when he'll be executed.
So, if I got this right, the governor was unmoved, and so state lawmakers stepped up and said, "We're subpoenaing this guy. You can't kill him because he has to appear at the state capitol."
Exactly right. And so the plan was he would be bussed in shackles to the state capitol. But then folks stepped in and said, no, we don't think the prisoner should be transported. So it's really up in the air. And it is further bizarre because, you think of Texas as a tough state, but actually the Texas governor does not have the unilateral power to save somebody's life. The parole board has to weigh in on it as well. So it's all up in the air. But the bottom line is some people are now saying, well, gee, isn't this just sort of an anti-capital punishment deal? If you have junk science leading to a conviction, well, the defense lawyers should be able to prove that and win the case, or if not at trial, then up at the appellate level. But the legislature in Texas said, no, we want to pass a special law saying that if junk science caused your conviction, you have a right to overturn that conviction.
This is a father whose own child died, apparently had a fever at the time, and because the father is autistic, they say he didn't show any emotion after the child died, and so that made everyone suspicious. Is that a good summary?
That's exactly right. And of course, the argument is that to the extent junk science years ago told everybody, well, if you shake the baby hard enough, then the baby's going to die. Now doctors tell us, no, it's not that simple. It probably was the pneumonia or some other medical condition not being shaken. So presumably this was hashed out in the many appeals, but now it's very possible that this man will be allowed to testify before the legislature on this issue.
But his ultimate fate remains up in the air.
Exactly right. Again, subject to the parole board and the governor. And presumably he could also try to say, well, this is a federal issue, so I'm going to flip it over to the U.S. Supreme Court. We don't know if they might get involved as well.
The last chapter is yet to be written, but we thank you, ABC News legal analyst Royal Oakes, joining us live. 3:50 now. Let's get you home. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Ricky, fall break. Are you seeing less traffic?
Maybe I am. It's a Monday, and that's typically one of our lesser driven days for the commute of a week, but it could be. But however, speeds are worse today on Bangerter Highway than they are on I-15. Right now we have stop-and-go delays southbound starting just before California Avenue, and it's all due to this accident near Parkway Boulevard, about 2500 south, where we still have a right lane blocked with a crash. Then southbound I-15, it's been filling in and slowing down, and that's southbound from 4500 South Murray into Sandy, almost Draper, but once you're at Bangerter Highway all the way to Provo, you're good to go. Northbound I-15, a little busy as you're passing 4500 south on the way to 3900 south. The 201 also has some slowing in the work zone with that construction. This is westbound Redwood Road to Bangerter. Steve?
Still have a crash clearing on 3rd West at 18 South. South on Foothill Drive, got a few slowdowns there from Sunnyside down to 13 South. Northbound I-15, though, looking good from downtown Salt Lake City into Davis County. Got a few light delays, Sunset into Roy. Northbound Highway 89, though, crowded from SR 193 to the I-84 ramps. Attention commercial property managers and business owners. This winter, don't let snow turn your parking lot into a haunted house. Let GoPave Utah clear the scares away. GoPaveUtah.com. Steve Carlson in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast looks like high pressure will move back in. I've got 70 for today, mostly sunny skies. Blue skies tomorrow with a high in the low 70s. 75 mostly sunny on Wednesday. Thursday, courtesy of an early morning cold front, will only rise to 69 mostly sunny. Partly cloudy, 73 on Friday. Weekend looks dry with mostly sunny skies and highs in the low 70s both Saturday and Sunday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
70 degrees and sunshine, your 7-day forecast. Brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. We'll check the markets in just a few moments. Stay here.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, only on KSL News Radio.
That's what I said now. Princess who adore you. Just go ahead now.
Betcha you finally turned the heat on. Maybe you're noodling back and forth between the furnace and the air conditioning. I mean, it arrived late, but this is the time of year, and it's the perfect time to get your heating system set for winter. I do. Around about this time of year, my wife calls Any Hour Services, and we get the 29-point inspection just to make sure in January the furnace doesn't get choked out by some worn-out part. I don't want to be turned into a Kaplan sickle, so as we've done for almost a decade, my wife calls Any Hour Services. We get a full written report on the health of our heating system, and if anything's going south, Any Hour will fix it. The inspection is inexpensive. Like a fast food dinner for $4 costs more. So check their 24,000 5-star Google reviews and call Any Hour Services for an appointment. 801-443-7400 or just go to anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
My name is Brian King, and I'm running to be your governor because Utah is headed in the wrong direction, and we can do so much better. If you're frustrated by politics today, if you feel like politicians aren't listening to you, if you're looking for something different, for a leader who prioritizes common sense and bipartisanship, you have a place with us in this campaign. Join us and vote for Brian King for governor by November 5th. For the better.
Paid for by Brian for Utah.
Spooky decorations and spooky costumes don't have to mean spooky dirt, grime, and spills. Zero Res wants to help you eliminate the dirt from all the foot traffic. Get your entire home Zero Resified with Zero Res's flash sale of 3 rooms for $109 and a hallway clean free. Don't miss this flash sale. This offer disappears Friday. Don't let a missed flash sale haunt you. Schedule at ZeroRes.com or call 801-2880 and ask for the 3 rooms for $109 and a hallway cleaned free.
We're watching Utah's money at KSL. Looks like the Boeing strike could end Wednesday. Machinists will vote midweek on a new deal that includes a 35% wage increase and a signing bonus of $78,000. On that news, Boeing stock up 3% today. Some local impact from a nationwide recall of frozen waffles. They're sold under a host of names at grocery stores, but these waffles are also sold by Kodiak Cakes of Park City, which is now recalling its dark chocolate, chocolate chip, and buttermilk and vanilla waffle flavors. Nike has renewed its partnership with the NBA and WNBA through 2037. The first deal kicked off 7 years ago. It was worth $1 billion. We have no idea how much Nike is paying to be in partnership with the NBA this time. Wall Street, it was a down day, the Dow losing 344 points. It closed at 42,931. The S&P down 10, the NASDAQ up 50 points. KSL News Time 3:56. Cougar Tracks, sponsored by America First Credit Union. Here's BYU insider Mitch Harper.
BYU football maintained its undefeated record after putting together a last-minute touchdown drive to defeat Oklahoma State. Quarterback Jake Retzloff connected with wide receiver Darius Lassiter for a 35-yard touchdown to give BYU the 38-35 win and improve their record to 7-0 this season. Retzloff reflected on the moment.
It's magical. It's spiritual. How can you not be romantic about this game? Just something like that. A couple of the guys, Waylon Abuaho was in tears on the sideline. Connor Pay scooting around in tears. Like it's a special experience, man. And doing it at home makes it even more fun. It was fun. It was just unbelievable, man. That's something that's going to be talked about for a long time, especially in my household.
BYU is now up to number 11 in the AP Top 25 poll and will prepare to take on the UCF Knights this Saturday at 1:30 p.m. right here on KSL. With Cougar Tracks, I'm Mitch Harper on your legacy home of the BYU Cougars, KSL News Radio.
What's better than a credit card with a low interest rate? How about one with no interest? For a limited time, when you open a new America First Visa, you'll enjoy 0% APR purchases for the first 6 months. Yep, all that buying power and not a single cent of interest for 6 months. That means no interest on summer fun, no interest on back-to-school gear, and no interest on holiday shopping. Interested? Then hurry to AmericaFirst.com to apply for yours today. Introductory variable annual percentage rate. Membership eligibility terms, creditworthiness, and conditions apply. See AmericaFirst.com/Visa for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal opportunity lender.
Hey, Benjamin, we've got a surprise for you.
What?
You have a brother. A $100 bill just like you.
Hey, I'm Ben.
What? We just got him for joining America First Credit Union and opening a new checking account.
And you're going to live together at America First.
What? This is nice.
For a limited time, new members get a $100 cash bonus when they open a checking account or $50 when they open a youth checking account. So head to AmericaFirst.com and get your money working today. Membership eligibility terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Premium checking from America First Credit Union. Learn more at AmericaFirst.com.
Number 7.
Intercepted! Tommy passes, picks it off!
That is one lucky number.
The touchdown!
7-0. Congrats to our BYU Cougars. Join the BYU faithful. Listen to Cougar Nation tonight from 6 to 7 on KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Ricky, what's going on?
Well, the delays continue for those in West Valley traveling Bangerter this afternoon. It's due to an accident southbound about 2500 south. That right lane is still blocked, and we have stop-and-go delays back to Indiana Avenue. Southbound I-15, it's been filling in and slowing down from Murray into Sandy. Steve?
Yeah, we're still rolling crash-free. No accidents. Full speeds on I-15. That's both ways between downtown Salt Lake and Willard Bay State Park. Southbound Highway 89, a little sluggish through Uinta coming down the hill there to the I-84 ramps. Southbound Foothill Drive, slowdowns at Sunnyside to Foothill Village, but good speeds on the 215 westbound and Legacy between I-80 and Park Lane in Farmington. Steve Carlson in the KSL Traffic Center.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the nines. We're headed down to 49 degrees overnight. For tomorrow, you can expect, room temperature. It's going to be 72 degrees outside. Then expect 75 for Wednesday. Tonight, sunset is at 6:37 p.m. And then 13 hours later, sunrise at 7:47 tomorrow morning.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon, 4 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Kaplan. We're at 70 degrees, KSL's top story. New details about the Cottonwood Heights woman accused of killing her National Guardsman husband while he slept. This afternoon, we're learning Jennifer Gledhill went to police the day before his death, claiming that her husband had abused her. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera joining us live with details. Eric?
Jeff, those new details were revealed in a search warrant for Jennifer Gledhill's lover's cell phone. Those documents say Gledhill went to Cottonwood Heights Police to report she had been beaten by her husband and asked them to take pictures of the bruises all over her body. She told police she wasn't sure if she fell asleep or lost consciousness after she was hit. It also states the officer she talked to saw she had a bruise under her left eye and her arms. This comes after District Attorney Sim Gill stated in charging documents that she was found by court to be an instigator to get her husband in trouble. About a month before, in August, Gledhill filed for a restraining order that was denied just days before she went to police. They also went to the courtroom today and discussed whether or not Gledhill would be allowed to see her 3 children. Appearing virtually in blue prison uniform, Jennifer Gledhill was visibly upset and fighting tears as prosecutors discussed the protective custody order of her 3 children. Her attorney, Jeremy Dias, argued her being in custody without bail would mean it would be supervised anyways.
And I think this is a heavy-handed tactic by the state to try to put undue pressure on her.
State Attorney Chantel Argyle expressed their worry of obstruction, pointing out they will most likely be witnesses in the trial.
It is concerning that additional trauma may arise if there is contact at this time.
The judge ultimately granted the order. Reporting live, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Thanks, Eric. Police are out in Davis County today looking for the body of Matthew Johnson, the husband. KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas says they don't need the body to prosecute Jennifer Gledhill, but that doesn't mean they're going to stop looking.
The police have no choice but to continue searching, to follow every lead possible, because if you do go to trial and the defense says, well, what work did you do to try to find the body? And they say, well, we gave up after October 10th or something like that, that tends to create more doubt in the jury's mind that, hey, maybe there is somebody out there.
Cottonwood Heights police say they believe the body is somewhere north of Salt Lake City, and they've been searching the Farmington Bay area this afternoon. KSL News Time 4:03, a Sandy man has been charged with child abuse after allegedly shooting 2 teenage boys with a BB gun multiple times in August. The 2 teenagers were riding around on a scooter, reportedly shooting people with Orbeez gel pellets. A man pulled up to them in a car saying his daughter had come home crying after being hit with one of those pellets. He rolled down his window and fired a BB gun at the teens. One of the teenagers had to have surgery to remove one of the BBs from his hand. The Turpin children, abused by 2 sets of parents, want accountability. Maria Chaleos is live at the KSL National News Desk.
Jeff, the foster parents who rescued several of the children from their home of abuse in 2018 have now been convicted and sentenced for child abuse themselves. While the Turpin children are glad the couple can't hurt any other children, their attorney Elon Zexer says they want change.
What about the county? What about CPS? What about ChildNet? That is literally the first thing that numerous Turpin children said to us.
Zexer says the abuse suffered at the hands of their foster parents was actually worse than that from their biological parents. Dr. Phil, among the people testifying on behalf of a Texas death row inmate convicted of shaking his daughter to death in 2002.
If we start executing people in Texas absent due process, absent fair trial,
we are going down a really dangerous road.
A state legislative committee is looking into his case because his conviction was based on the now discredited theory of shaken baby syndrome. Robert Roberson's attorney, Gretchen Sween, says police immediately suspected Roberson in his daughter's death.
The goal was never really to find out what had happened to Nikki.
Now, Roberson's list of supporters include Texas lawmakers, judges, and even best-selling author John Grisham. Live from the KSL National News Desk, I'm Maria Chaleos, KSL News Radio.
Hundreds of frozen waffles have been recalled, hundreds of different brands. It's just one of a dozen products recalled this month, the waffles. USU Assistant Professor and Food Safety Specialist Jose Brandeo says it's best to err on the side of caution when it comes to these food recalls.
There's stuff that we can do to make sure that we are safer, like always reheating our food, cooking them. But when we are speaking about ready-to-eat food, there's nothing that you are going to do that is going to reduce that risk.
Brandeo says that you should make sure to sanitize any areas that contaminated food has been so the bacteria doesn't spread. We're entering another stretch of above-average temperatures and little or no rain. Our meteorologist says we need to turn this trend around to avoid problems down the road.
If you include the rain we've gotten so far this month, Salt Lake City has registered below average rain totals for 4 of the last 5 months. KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says November through March are our money-making months for rain and snow.
If you miss out on 2 of those months, now you're at a big deficit, but you've also lost precious time when the jet stream should be down here and it's not.
So if we keep up this trend deep into December, Matt says we could lose some of our spring runoff to the dry ground later on. Matt thinks we could hit our averages for rain and snowfall into February, but it's too far out to say for certain how this winter will play out. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Dry roads. We have First Look Traffic. Ricky is here.
Well, Bangerter Highway is still a mess going southbound due to an accident about 2500 south. That right lane still blocked, and you have solid delays back to Indiana Avenue. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
My minute is on the way next.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station, as close as your pocket.
I usually go to the KSL app.
Because it's on your phone, you have such a wide ability to choose what you're listening to.
That's the only news app that I use.
Listen anytime, anywhere with the KSL News Radio app.
Order for Jennifer C. Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve? Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine? Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year? Well, I do now. Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year? Yeah, you just said that. Did you say I just said that? Yeah, I'm cutting you off. Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day. Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and there's a good chance you've heard me talking about our free furnace sale. The one where you buy a new air conditioner and we give you a new furnace for just the cost to install it, about $400. Well, we still have a few more spots on our schedule we need to fill, so I'm extending the sale, but I'm not quite sure for how much longer. Definitely no later than the end of October. And once I think our schedule's full enough, I gotta pull these ads. So don't wait too long to call and schedule your free estimate. The main reason we do this sale is to give you an incentive to help us keep our guys busy when the weather's mild. And thanks to your help, we're able to keep our guys and keep growing. So if your furnace and air conditioner are ready to be replaced, you owe it to yourself to at least schedule a free estimate and get all the details about our free furnace sale. Just to recap, when you have Any Hour Services install a new air conditioner, we'll give you a new furnace for just the cost to install it. About $400. The furnace is free, you just pay the labor. If you think you might be interested, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
This is My Minute of News, brought to you by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air, anyhourservices.com. When I leave the state and curious people ask me about Utah, which they assume is a weird place, I get these bizarre questions like, what do they eat? So I want to mention a state dish, and I'm debating with myself, Do I go with funeral potatoes, Jell-O, or do I hit them with the dirty soda this time, which requires you to explain the ingredients? Well, you start with Diet Coke, add the coconut, the lime, and then you have to explain why we guzzle, sip, and chug these concoctions to slake our thirst. Too much work, so I go with Jell-O every time. I was back east a couple of weeks ago, and I found something strange, something weird, something I never realized about them. Back east, their Halloween game is weak. There are a few people with their lawns decorated and homes that are, a couple of pumpkins, a sign that says boo. This trip I noticed, and I'm like, is that all you got? Folks, I live in the land straight out of Nightmare Before Christmas. It's like Friday the 13th and the Upside Down put together. Homes become graveyards. Yards host the undead. Skelly from Home Depot is everywhere. In Utah, we invite the fright. And the statistics bear me out. Utah spends more per household on Halloween than any other state in the country, more on decorations, more on candy. We also spend more on Jell-O, which this time of year includes Jell-O cured in molds shaped like jiggling human brains. This is Halloween. Utah, we own October. So raise your dirty soda up high and toast the scariest state in America. Till Pennsylvania on Election Day.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Ricky?
We do have delays on southbound I-15 from 4500 south in Murray down to about 90th south in Sandy. After that, you may see a few spots where you'll hit the brakes, but overall, no real delays. As you go from 90th all the way to the point of the mountain, we've cleared out northbound I-15 and looking good from Draper to downtown, westbound on the 201. It's the road work. That zone has a lot of slowing, and that's westbound from Redwood to Bangerter. Mark?
We have heavy delays on Bangerter between Lake Park Boulevard and California Ave. With a southbound crash, you'll notice it's been lingering over closer to 2500 south, and that's been pretty awful. Northbound delays as well, headed in the other direction, headed to SR 201. Not seeing any unusual slowdowns on I-15 in Utah County between Point of the Mountain and Payson. For now, things are looking pretty good. Steve?
Got a fresh fender fight right now on 5th East in Salt Lake between 3rd and 4th South. Seeing some spotty thick spots now on northbound 15 from downtown right around 6 north up to North Salt Lake. Then it's full-on speeds all the way to Willard Bay. Southbound 89 also sluggish through Uinta to the I-84 ramps. And southbound Foothill, typical slowdown, sunny side out to about 13 south by Foothill Village. Prep for winter, get a furnace inspection from a certified heating contractor to check for safety and efficiency. A reminder from Enbridge Gas. Steve Carlson in the KSL Traffic Center.
Our sunny skies continue with temperatures in the low 70s. The trend looks to stick around. Tonight, 49 for the low, 72 and sunny on our Tuesday, 76 and sunny on Wednesday. A little front goes by Wednesday night, and that'll drop temperatures into the 60s for Thursday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubanks.
70 degrees in Salt Lake City. It's the best of times and the worst of times, depending if you're a Ute or a Cougar. We're going to go in-depth coming up. We're streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com. This is Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
At Common Spirit Health, we don't just see a cancer diagnosis. We see you, and you don't have to do this alone. We believe you should be surrounded by your people, so you can keep them close while you get care close to home. Supported by our care team from diagnosis to treatment and beyond, and strengthened by treatment tailored to you. Because there's no one-size-fits-all approach to cancer care. Find cancer care with human kindness close to you at mountain.commonspirit.org.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. I want to tell you about our famous You Don't Need a Warranty warranty. That's right, it's a warranty you don't need, but we give it to you anyway. Let me explain. Most warranty problems for siding, gutters, and windows are caused by not installing stuff right in the first place. If you rush the work, cut corners, or use subpar materials, you're just begging for problems later. At RGS Exteriors, we don't tolerate careless workmanship. We slow down, focus on every detail, and use only the best materials. We prevent warranty work by doing the job right in the first place. That's why the 10-year everything guarantee we give you is also known as our You Don't Need a Warranty warranty. We absolutely will be there if you need to use it. But honestly, you probably will never have to. Done right the first time. That's the RGS way. For siding, gutters, and windows, call 801-280-3110 or visit us at rgsexteriors.com.
Dave and Debbie.
It's impossible to digest and consume all of the news that's now coming at us through either social media or through web pages or through the radio. Pick what is most impactful in your life and focus on that. And that's what Dave and I do every single morning. We pick those issues that are most important to our listeners and we boil it down so it's digestible. It's simple to understand.
I think we're trying to find the essence of the story. You know, you can't be an expert on all things, but that doesn't mean you can't be curious and really find out more and educate yourself and learn the complexities of an issue. But I think all of us start at ground zero on everything. Ask questions, show that curiosity.
And then if you need more research, you can always go to KSLNewsRadio.com and learn more.
Listen for Dave and Dejanovic 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time 4:15. The three things you need to know this hour first.
More and more restaurants in Salt Lake City and across the state are closing due to rising costs. I'm KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson.
Second, police officers and members of the National Guard are at Farmington Bay today. They're looking for the body of a Cottonwood Heights guardsman. The man's wife has been charged with his murder. Third, our biggest traffic trouble spot.
I-15 in Weber, Davis, Salt Lake, and Utah counties, not too bad. A little bit of slowing northbound I-15 downtown to the north interchange and southbound I-15 heavy and slow Murray into Sandy. But it's Bangerter Highway with a crash going southbound at 2500 South with stacked up delays. Ricky Meeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
Sunny skies with temperatures back in the 70s. I'm Kevin Eubank.
70 even at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios now. Our top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Surveying hurricane damage in North Carolina, a battleground state in the election, former President Trump repeated falsehoods about the federal disaster response. State governors, both Republican and Democrat, have said FEMA's doing a good job.
East of Asheville, the former president repeated his false claim that FEMA has misdirected disaster funds to house migrants.
They don't have any money for the people that live here.
The FEMA administrator tells me that's just not true.
I currently have about $7.5 billion left.
Deanne Criswell says she will need to ask Congress to add more to the disaster relief fund, but she says it's untrue to say that she's tapped that fund to help house migrants. I asked for her response to Trump saying this about FEMA's response to Helene.
Their rescue effort was almost non-existent.
Another absolute lie.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Tonight, Mr. Trump scheduled at a faith leaders meeting in Concord, North Carolina. Ahead of a rally in Oakland County, Michigan, with former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney in Michigan, Vice President Harris spoke to reporters saying Donald Trump's economic plan to exempt many from paying taxes will be bad for the most important federal programs.
There are many seniors in our country that Social Security is their only form of income. And now an independent agency has reviewed Donald Trump's theory about Social Security and his policies and has indicated that his policy would actually render the Social Security fund empty, essentially, in 6 years.
Harris campaigning with Cheney in Brookfield, Wisconsin tonight. Early voting started in more states today. More big turnouts reported. Georgia officials announced that over 1.5 million people have voted early. Millions of people with private health insurance would be able to pick up over-the-counter methods like condoms, the morning-after pill, and birth control pills for free under a new rule the White House proposed today. You're listening to ABC News.
And now the in-depth on KSL. Football season is not going as expected. Look, BYU is undefeated. The Utes, meantime, are shuffling coaches in desperation. It was not supposed to be this way. Joining us live, KSL Sports Zone host Hans Olsen. It's good to talk to you. Hans, is this one of the most unbelievable college football seasons ever in this state?
It floors me what's happening right now. As you talked about the coaching shuffle at Utah, the 7-0 record at BYU, it is just a spectacular season full of entertainment and storylines.
Okay, so what did the experts get wrong about each of these two teams? BYU was supposed to be meh. Utah was going all the way.
Well, let's start with Utah. Cam Rising was expected to be the starting quarterback without problem, without injury. He comes back, runs into a Gatorade bottle, He ends up jacking up a hand, causing major problems. He's out for a period of time. He comes back, jacks up a leg, and then he's permanently out, leaving you with Isaac Wilson, true freshman, to be your starting quarterback. Of course, that's going to cause headaches, and it's going to create some delay in the offense, and we've seen that kind of play out over the last 3 games. As far as BYU's concerned, Jake Retzlaff has answered the call, Jeff. He has been a much better quarterback than anybody expected him to be. He manages the pocket well. He knows what his primary targets are. He has an offensive line that's blocked very well for him in the beginning parts of this season. He has well exceeded expectations, but it's not just about Jake Retzlaff. Jeff, they have put together one of the nation's best defenses. They've got 3 of the best linebackers across the country in Harrison Taggart, in Isaiah Glasker, and in Jack Kelly, the transfer out of Weber State. This defense has shocked so many people, and it sits as one of the top defenses in the country statistically in almost every major category.
So we're a little more than halfway through a season that's left college football fans in Utah slack-jawed. Thanks a lot for the analysis, and we'll find out what comes next. Cougar Nation is coming up tonight on KSL at 6 o'clock, brought to you by Central Bank. Thanks a lot, Hans, KSL Sports Zone host Hans Olsen, joining us live. KSL News Time 420. Now, traffic and weather together. We're brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Ricky Meese.
Southbound I-15, a little bit of slowing as you're passing 2100 South, but the real delays are waiting for you starting around 45th South in Murray into Sandy, westbound on the 201. The construction delays again this afternoon. This is westbound prior to Redwood over to Bangerter Highway. Mark?
Well, flare-ups on Bangerter Highway right now in the form of a wreck southbound at 2500 South. This is getting all the severe backup on afternoon rush behind it coming down from California Avenue. That's Bangerter Highway. Then the northbound side's been bad as well. Lake Park Boulevard up to SR201. Mountain View, heavy SR201 to 3500 South. No wrecks in Utah County. I-15 is okay right now. Steve?
Northbound 15, a little busy in spots between 6 South and North Salt Lake right now. Then it's full speeds all the way up to Brigham City. Southbound 15, good to go back the other way. Southbound 89 got those typical slowdowns through Uinta down the hill there to I-84. Slowdowns on southbound Foothill from Sunnyside, and a crash clearing on 5th East between 3rd and 4th South. Get Mr. Max Performance Missionary Package, 1 performance suit, 4 and collar stretch shirts, 3 ties, 1 mission belt, and 1 pair of Echo or Johnston & Murphy shoes, just $595. Steve Carlson in the KSL Traffic Center.
Your 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Kevin Eubank and I, this gives you an idea. We're sitting here talking about the BYU football here. What about the weather?
Oh, man, it was crazy. What a fun weekend, whether it was at BYU or Utah State or Utah. Some of the games had good outcomes, some of them didn't, but the weather, it was pretty fantastic, and it's gorgeous again today. Sunny and low 70s in Salt Lake City, and get used to it. Tuesday and Wednesday, both in the 70s with sunshine. A little breezy Wednesday afternoon, we'll go to 76. Then a cool down, a little dry front goes by Thursday. It'll pull us into the low 60s, which is normal. And then we ramp it back up to the 70s for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, low 70s and sun. Next chance for a storm, pretty weak, but it looks like next Monday night into Tuesday, chance for a little bit of valley rain.
So that's 7 days away. We will have to wait. Thanks a lot, Kevin. It's 70 degrees. KSL News Time, 423.
At Gillette Services, you're more than just a customer. You're family. We pride ourselves on delivering exceptional HVAC and plumbing services with a personal touch. Whether it's a routine checkup or an emergency, we're here for you. Get a $49 tune-up for the first 50 callers. Call 385-GET-HEAT today. That's 385-438-4328 today.
A Carrier Factory authorized dealer.
I am Rochelle Morris, and I'm running for Salt Lake County Council at large. As I've spent time getting to know you, from Magna to Mill Creek and from Salt Lake City to Sandy, I've become even more convinced that there is so much that you and I have in common. In Salt Lake County, we want accountability for our tax dollars. We want collaborative problem solving to tackle housing affordability, homelessness, and transportation needs. We want safe parks and neighborhoods for our kids and our families. When you elect me in November, I will work earnestly to best serve and represent you. I'll deliver real results on the issues that matter most. Whether you live in the north end or the south end of the county, the east side or the west side, I will be your advocate. I love our county, and I'll get right to work making Salt Lake County work better for all of us. I'm Rochelle Morris, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Rochelle Morris for Salt Lake County Council.
Get ready. Mortgage rates are at the lowest they've been in a while. So make time for Hercules First Federal Credit Union. You've been patient, and now it pays off. Discover a variety of flexible mortgage options and products for everyone, even those of you with less than perfect credit. First-time home buyer? Hercules programs deliver specialized mortgages with low down payment options. That means the dream of home ownership is within reach of more of the community. Refinancing? Hercules helps you lower your monthly payments, consolidate debt, or reduce high interest rates. And Hercules helps support you beyond the mortgage, offering help with budgeting, lots of ownership tips, and timely advice. Hercules has been offering high-quality service and products since 1946. So discover more at HerculesCU.com. HerculesCU.com. Hercules First Federal Credit Union, growing stronger together. Learn more at HerculesCU.com. Equal housing lender, insured by NCUA.
We're watching Utah's Money at KSL. McDonald's seems a little bit upset that a franchise owner in Pennsylvania invited Donald Trump to work the drive-thru over the weekend. Could you imagine? You roll up and there he is. McDonald's put out a statement this morning emphasizing the company doesn't endorse candidates for elected office. Starting tomorrow, Starbucks will be selling themed drinks based on Glinda and Elphaba, the stars of Wicked. The Broadway show now being turned into a movie. Glinda's pink potion features dragon fruit and mango. Elphaba's cold brew features green candy sprinkles and peppermint. I don't know. Did I say their names right? It's Wicked. I don't know. Anyway, LeBron James, I said that right. This year's highest paid NBA player. His 11th year holding that title from Forbes, making over $128 million. On Wall Street, the Dow was down 344 points, the S&P down 10, but the NASDAQ was up 50.
When Dee and I built our new home, and it's almost been 10 years now, I think of all of the appliances that we put in that house, and I cannot tell you how many of them already we have had some major repairs and even replacements. You know the one thing that I haven't given a second thought to? It's the Connecticut soft water system. It is remarkable. We've had two systems in two different homes, and not once have we ever called with an issue to my friends at Connecticut. It's time for you to call Connecticut. If you're replacing an old system or if you're building a new home, whatever it might be, you will be amazed at how efficient the Connecticut soft water system is. For example, when your neighbor puts in 3 bags of salt in his or her system, you will be putting in only 1. It's remarkable how efficient it is. Give them a call. Great people to do business with. Call Northern Utah's authorized Connecticut dealer at 801-576-8600 or go to softwaterutah.com.
Join KSL's Tim and Amanda Friday 3 to 5 at the Salt Lake NPS store, 1600 Empire Road, npsstore.com.
Emergency medical unit, respond to 102 Maple Avenue, possible stroke victim.
When stroke occurs, you have 60 minutes to win or lose the race of your life. There are new treatments, but you must get to a hospital fast. If you suddenly feel weakness on one side, have trouble speaking, walking, or seeing, it could be a stroke. Call 911. Get to a hospital. Because how you spend the next 60 minutes could determine how you spend the rest of your life. Stroke. Know the signs. Act in time. A message from the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke.
If you're struggling with your mortgage, there's a free government program that offers expert one-on-one advice about your mortgage options. Call 1-888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
We're just 14 days away from the historic 2024 election.
I'm running for governor because you deserve partisanship, not unchecked power.
It's been an honor of a lifetime to serve as your governor. We've accomplished so much together.
Do your homework and get your ballot in the mail. Election week is coming, and we have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Ricky, what's going on?
Well, a KSL traffic trooper reporting a 5-car crash on the 201 just as you pass over Redwood Road as you're going westbound. No emergency crews yet. I haven't seen it. and what I'm seeing in the traffic cameras, but traffic seems to be getting through the area pretty okay from just before Redwood over to Bangerter, but we'll keep looking. And then southbound I-15 bogged down from Murray almost to 114th South. Mark?
You got Bangerter backups and southbound crash lingering at 2500 South is not helping matters. Getting down to SR 201. It's been heavy on Mountain View as well. Southbound SR 201 to 3500 South. Steve?
And right now, northbound 15, a little busy in spots as you leave downtown up to Woods Cross. Then full freeway speeds up to North Ogden. Southbound Highway 89, a little sluggish through Uinta down to I-84. And the usual slowdowns on South Foothill between Sunnyside and Foothill Village. Otherwise good to go on 215's West Belt and Legacy so far. There are 1,000 people homeless who remain unsheltered every night, sleeping in the streets. You can help by helping the rescue mission of Salt Lake restore lives. Visit rescuesaltlake.org. Steve Carlson in the KSL Traffic Center.
You're listening to Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM
and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon, 4:30 at KSL. Jeff Kaplan here. It's 70 degrees. KSL's top story, it is looking more bleak for local restaurants. Some are still struggling to stay afloat with inflation. There hasn't been that much of a post-pandemic bounce back. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson with more.
If you've noticed more and more local favorite eating spots are closing their doors, it's because across the state, Utah restaurant revenue is down 15% since the pandemic, and small local restaurants are especially feeling the pinch.
It's heartbreaking. Many of our locally authentic Utah restaurants are family-owned and operated.
President and CEO of the Utah Restaurant Association, Melva Sine, says costs have skyrocketed. Just labor and food costs have combined gone up about 60%, and there may not be a light at the end of the tunnel anytime soon. Sine says we'll continue to see small and large restaurants struggle. Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
There could be a new tracks line within the next decade. UTA is considering 4 options for a new orange line. Spokesperson Aaron Bruff says whichever option they choose of the 4, it should be completed in time for the 2034 Winter Olympics.
This is not specifically tied to the Winter Games. This is already in plan in our 5-year service plan. But yes, the expectation is it should be up and running a couple of years ahead of the Olympics.
The estimated cost $390 million. So where does it go? This orange line would run from Research Park at U of U through downtown to the airport. The presidential candidates are making their final swing toward Election Day. Maria Chaleos is live at the KSL National News Desk.
Jeff, while in Michigan, Vice President Kamala Harris touting a new rule announced by her administration today that would allow people to get contraception over the counter.
A rule that would essentially allow folks to get contraception over the counter. And as we know, my policy is about making sure that Americans have what they need in terms of their reproductive health. And Donald Trump would actually restrict access to contraception.
Meantime, former President Trump has been in North Carolina criticizing the federal government's response to the hurricane.
They don't have any money for the people that live here.
But FEMA Administrator Dan Criswell says that's just not true.
I currently have about $7.5 billion left.
Also disputes Mr. Trump's claim that FEMA has misdirected disaster funds to house migrants.
No money out of the disaster relief fund has gone to anyone but somebody impacted by a disaster.
Criswell says at some point there will be a need for Congress to replenish the disaster relief fund. Live from the KSL National News Desk, I'm Maria Chaleos, KSL News Radio.
Have you sent in your ballot yet? Turns out early voting is not super popular among the younger crowd. Only 5% of 18 to 29-year-olds have cast their ballots. KSL at Night host Adam Gardner tells Dave and Dujanovic it's not surprising, but some other voter turnout numbers are.
The 30 to 39-year-old demographic, that number seems very, very low to me. And I think that a lot of the millennials are just feeling really bummed out about the political process because it's not maybe representing either side. Where we're seeing the most is those that are 40 to 49 or 65 and over.
Gardner says 13 million early votes have been cast in total nationwide, with Democrats in swing states leading the count. New details are out from toxicology tests on former One Direction member Liam Payne. who died last week in Buenos Aires.
When hotel workers in Buenos Aires called police, they said they had a guest who was drunk on drugs and alcohol. Now, sources say toxicology results showed Liam Payne had multiple drugs in his body when he fell from a third-story balcony and died at the hotel. The sources say among the substances was pink cocaine, a recreational drug that's typically a mix of methamphetamine, ketamine, MDMA, and cocaine. An improvised aluminum pipe was found in his hotel room, according to sources. Alex Stone, EBC News.
KSL News Time, 4:34. Girl Scout membership fees are going to rise to nearly quadruple what they are over the next 2 years.
The Girl Scouts of the USA voted to raise the fee to $65 during a special national council meeting. It's the first price increase in 8 years. The Girl Scouts of Utah say they will implement the higher fees at a phased-in rate, where members will pay $45 for the 2025 through 2026 year and then $65 for 2027. State Girl Scout leaders say they are committed to making sure everyone who wants to be a Scout gets to be a Scout. Residents who are nervous about the high fee can look into financial aid options through the Girl Scouts and reach out to the State Council for help and information. Claire Scott, KSL News Radio.
Celebrity chef Tony Gimignani's pizza chain is coming to Utah. Slice House is expecting to open a new location in Salt Lake City's Foothill Village by the end of the year. Gimignani has won 13 World Pizza Making Championships. Good eating. KSL News Time, 4:35 now. First look traffic, and Ricky Meese is here. So what's going on?
We still have some leftover delays southbound Bangor, and that goes from just after Indiana Avenue down to the 201 junction from an earlier crash. And then some slowing showing up both north and southbound I-15 in Utah County, anywhere from about 5th East, American Fork, and Linden. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Thanks, Ricky. My Minute of News is on the way next. Stay right here.
Want to avoid getting sick this fall? Getting your immunizations is a classic approach. You can protect yourself against the flu, RSV, pneumonia, and COVID. Does that sound like music to your ears? Then talk to a doctor or healthcare provider. And visit uptodate.utah.gov to learn more.
My name is Brian King, and I'm running to be your governor because Utah is headed in the wrong direction, and we can do so much better. If you're frustrated by politics today, if you feel like politicians aren't listening to you, if you're looking for something different, for a leader who prioritizes common sense and bipartisanship, you have a place with us in this campaign. Join us and vote for Brian King for governor by November 5th. For the better.
Paid for by Brian for Utah.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Spend time with KSL News Radio and get a deeper understanding of the world around us.
You've got voices like Boyd Matheson.
I enjoy his measured approach to things.
A very balanced view.
Inside Sources, weekdays 1 to 3.
On KSL News Radio.
This is My Minute of News, brought to you by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air, anyhourservices.com. I think we can safely assume Donald Trump doesn't sing Taylor Swift songs in the shower. After her endorsement of Kamala Harris, he posted, "I hate Taylor Swift."
She's a very liberal person. She seems to always endorse a Democrat, and she'll probably pay a price for it at in the marketplace.
But there was a time when Trump apparently liked her enough to blast her music in his car. This audio is from a Facebook video of Donald Trump driving his Rolls Royce. It's shot from inside the car, Barron's in the passenger seat, and the song blasting is Blank Space by Taylor Swift. The video ends like that. Presumably, Taylor Swift is now banned from the Trump Rolls Royce as the pundits debate Taylor Swift's impact on the election.
Is it possible that she could have more of an impact as a celebrity endorser than we've seen in the past? I think that's certainly possible.
They point out nearly 500,000 of her fans flocked to a voter registration website right after that endorsement, and some fans have gone much, much farther. In critical Pennsylvania, the Wall Street Journal reports Swifties have been making friendship bracelets by the thousands. They bear phrases like Miss Amerikamala. The bracelets are left at places like Target for free right by the Taylor Swift display. Meantime, Swifties are raising hundreds of thousands of dollars for Kamala Harris. But will it sway the election? There's no evidence Taylor Swift has convinced anyone to change sides. Lots of people love her music and ignore her politics, but she could light a fuse in some fans who wouldn't have bothered to vote otherwise. Maybe, maybe not, but as the polls show in this one, every vote counts.
And I'll write your name.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
It's traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Ricky Meese.
The drive home southbound I-15 slow as you go from Murray through Draper. You'll see better speeds by the time you're approaching the point of the mountain. All clear northbound I-15 from Draper up to Murray. But at 33rd South to 2100 South, we do have traffic slowing down a bit. Also a little slow westbound on the 201 Redwood to Bangor. And again, as you're passing Mountain View Corridor on the way to Magna. Mark?
It's still awfully heavy on Bangor southbound between Pryor to California Avenue, struggling to SR 201. Now all lanes are open down at 2500 South. That was a big lingering crash for more than an hour. Work to wreck that commute into West Valley. And over on the northbound side, it's been heavy as well, headed to SR 201 on Bangor. Seeing the normal sluggish volume, SR 36 through Mills Junction. I-15 in Utah County starting to a little bit backed up, anywhere between maybe 8th North and American Fork, both sides about equally as sluggish. Steve.
Right now, your northbound 15 drive out of downtown Salt Lake City. A little busy in spots heading into Woods Cross, also Sunset to Riverdale. Got a crash in West Haven right now. This is on southbound 1900 West at Midland Drive. Had the right lane closed there. And slowdowns typical. Southbound 89 through Uinta from Comby Road down to I-84. For a top-quality kitchen or bath with top-quality craftsmanship, call 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. They're always on time with no delays and meet all deadlines. Visit 3daykitchen.com. Steve Carlson in a KSL Traffic Center.
Beautiful sunshine and temperatures back in the 70s. The trend looks to continue on Tuesday and Wednesday. We will see a little front go by, not much of an impact other than maybe a few clouds, but the temperatures will drop. We'll be in the low 60s on Thursday and mid to upper 60s on Friday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
And right now in Salt Lake City, we're at 70 degrees. Everybody wants to be a candidate this year. You're a candidate, and you're a candidate. We'll go in-depth. Coming up, we're streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com. This is Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. It's 4:42.
I ain't happy. I'm feeling glad I got sunshine. In a bag, I'm useless, but not for long. The future is coming on. I ain't happy.
You need a new roof, but you figure, it'll probably last through winter. Only problem is, now you're talking about next year, and the roofing industry hikes prices January 1st. So here's the solution from IWC Roofing. Book IWC for next spring. They will hold 2024 prices for you, plus give you $2,000 off your quote. IWC is the #1 residential roofing contractor in Utah. They do more homes than any other roofing company, and they keep their prices low. IWC is proud to be one of a handful of Owens Corning Platinum certified contractors in the entire state. Now or next spring, their experienced OSHA-trained employees will re-roof your home in a single day, start to finish, and then they'll power wash your driveway just to say thank you. Lock in 2024 prices and get $2,000 off. IWC offers no money down financing, the best warranty in the business, Call them. IWC Roofing, 801-232-5690. 801-232-5690. Or go to IWCRoofingUtah.com.
Hey, this is Dan the Laptop Man from PC Laptops. Myth. You might have heard that you need to spend a fortune these days to get a powerful computer. Correction. At PC Laptops, we wanted to prove that wrong. So here's the most amazing deal that we've ever done at PC Laptops for you in over 30 years. The new 2025 S1 desktop or SM3 laptop for only $999. You heard that right, $999. You get a blazing fast processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing storage for $999. What else do you get? Lifetime service warranty, and we have 12 months special financing on approved credit. Take one home today. Hurry in right now because supplies are limited, because at PC Laptops, we love you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. $999, PCLaptops.com.
KSL offers the best daily newsletter in the state. It's the 3 things you need to know. Every weekday, we deliver quality and relevant content to your inbox. No ads, no spam, just the 3 things you need to know to be informed about the world around you. Subscribe today. Visit KSLNewsRadio.com or text the word inbox to 57500. That's inbox to 57500.
KSL News Time 445. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
Cottonwood Heights woman accused of murdering her husband while he slept made her first court appearance earlier today, and a judge denied visitation rights to her 3 children. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera.
Second, Salt Lake City police say a person was taken to the hospital with minor injuries in a shooting near 7th West and Jackson Avenue around 9 this morning. Third, our biggest traffic trouble spot.
Earlier, a KSL traffic trooper alerted us to a multiple vehicle crash westbound on the 201 near Redwood. I finally see it in the traffic cameras. Most of these vehicles are over to the right shoulder, but we're still waiting for emergency crews to arrive. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Beautiful sunny skies continue with temperatures above normal. I'm Kevin Eubanks.
70 is the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Now our top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. The head of the federal disaster agency FEMA has had to again today knock down falsehoods about the federal hurricane response repeated by a presidential candidate. Deanne Criswell says they're not out of money. They have $7.5 billion in the disaster relief fund, despite former President Trump's claims to the contrary. And Criswell saying that money is not being diverted to any migrants, as Mr. Trump claims.
No money out of the disaster relief fund has gone to anyone but somebody impacted by a disaster.
Republican and Democratic governors affected by the hurricanes have praised the federal response. Mr. Trump is in Concord, North Carolina this evening at a faith leaders meeting. VP Harris with former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney in Brookfield, Wisconsin. In Royal Oak, Michigan, Harris reacting to former President Donald Trump's non-answer on raising the federal minimum wage, arguing that an increase would help Americans. This is ABC News.
And now the KSL in-depth. This election season, we've seen a lot of third-party candidates. Why? First of all, KSL at Night co-hosts Leah Murray and Maura Carabello are with us live. So how many people are running for major offices as third-party candidates this year?
You know, I mean, where this shows up for us is watching the debates. If you haven't, KSL's covered all the debates. If you're still an undecided voter, go log on at KSL and see the debates. And I'm going to say, Leah, more than half had alternatives, mostly showing up in the Libertarian Party this year and the United Utah Party, which those of you who don't remember United Utah, a handful of years ago, it's essentially a slightly right-of-center group that split off a little from the Republican Party because they felt like they weren't representing them very well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like usually when you get a third party, Jeff, it's a one-issue take. Does that make sense? So it's like the single-issue voter, I'm really annoyed at this thing that's happening. But I feel like it's so, like across the board we're seeing them, that I think there's something more going on.
What do you mean by something more? Tell us.
So I feel like these are not single issue voters. I mean, these candidates are not representing single issues. So it's not like it's Jill Stein, does that make sense, with her green issue? So what we're seeing, I think specifically inside of Utah, I think a little bit it's what version of Republican do we want to vote for? And when the Republican Party isn't delivering exactly the right version, you're getting candidates coming out from offshoots.
So, I'm sorry.
To Leah's point, these alternative parties are largely right of center.
Right.
So they're still in alignment with most Utah voters. And so you look and say, hey, will this make a difference? Are we talking about a third party winning? We're not probably looking at a third party winning, but in some races, they could be as much as 10% of the vote. What does that tell our elected Republicans? Will they hear that 10% of what I'm going to say their voter, a Republican voter, is saying, yeah, we're not so happy?
Interesting. Is there any case where a third-party candidate actually won a major office in Utah?
Ooh, silence.
No, but I think second place, right? So Evan McMullen.
No, second place doesn't win you anything, right?
First place loser is what we like to call
That's
them.
what I mean, like first runner-up. But my point is like, right, like Ross Perot gets second place in 92 in Utah. The Democrat comes in third place. So you do see third parties not necessarily winning, but doing okay.
Utah has had some strong number twos.
Right.
But no, not until the olden days. In modern history, we haven't seen it. I do think it's an indication of unrest right now in Utah Republicans looking for better alternatives.
Yeah, in the sports world, I think they call that a statement victory when you come in second place.
Right.
So you're going to talk about this tonight on KSL at night?
That's right. Tonight, listen in. Mara and I will get into it.
7 o'clock. Maura Carabello, Leah Murray, thanks so much for joining us in studio. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Ricky, what is the deal?
We have an accident involving multiple vehicles westbound on the 21st South Freeway just before Redwood Road. People are trying to stay out of that right lane, but the vehicles are mostly over to the right shoulder. When you're past that, you'll see more heavy and slow traffic westbound on the 201 as you go from Mountain View into Magna, southbound I-15. Heavy and slow from Murray through Draper, and northbound I-15 a little busy as you go from 33rd South up to the I-80 201 junction. Mark?
We have some fresh delays going I-80 westbound headed towards Tooele this afternoon between SR 202, Salt Lake County, Great Salt Air, and SR 201. There is maybe a minute, two's worth of delays there on I-80 westbound. We do also have some delays, pretty rough still, that continue Bangor southbound Glendale, California Avenue, struggling down to SR 201 with the wreck past that has since been cleared. I-15 in Utah County, got your normal sluggish afternoon volume between American Fork and Orem. Steve.
Got a couple of crashes on your radar. 13 south at 4th west, another 7th south and 7th east and 2100 south. Northbound 15 thickened spots between downtown and North Salt Lake and Clearfield up to Riverdale Road. Lots of cops clearing more crashes. This one in West Haven on southbound 1900 west at Midland Drive on the right shoulder. Southbound 89 still bogged down through Uinta to the I-84 Rams. Steve Carlson in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, the beautiful sunshine continues with temperatures in the low 70s today. We'll go to those low 70s again on Tuesday, mid-70s on Wednesday with a little south wind ahead of a cool front that'll drop our temperatures for Thursday, Friday. We'll fall back into the 60s, keep it sunny, just a little bit cooler. Then we're back to the 70s for Saturday, Sunday, and then the next chance for a storm comes late Monday into next Tuesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubanks.
70 degrees in Salt Lake City, 68 in Ogden, 69 in Provo. Your 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, only on KSL News Radio.
All the old paintings on the tomb, they do the sun dance, don't you know? If they move too quick, oh, well, they're falling down like a domino. Falling types of the hookah pipe say, oh, well, walk like an Egyptian.
Attention Utah professionals. Join us at the Utah Business Forward event on November 20th, 2024 at the Grand America Hotel. Learn from successful Utah leaders, including Kurt Doman of Progressive Leasing and U of U women's basketball coach Lynn Roberts. Dive into breakout sessions on entrepreneurship, people and culture, acquisitions, AI, brand marketing, and strategic leadership. Don't miss this opportunity to connect and grow. Visit forward.utahbusiness.com to register today.
I'm Salt Lake County Mayor Jenny Wilson. You deserve a county government that protects your tax dollars. That's why every budget passed while I've been mayor has been balanced and earned bipartisan support. We've even protected the county's elite AAA bond rating, which saves you money. As your county mayor, I'm trying to make things a little easier for you and your family. We've got more difficult choices ahead of us, but I promise I'll never stop fighting for Salt Lake County families. Go to wilsonformayor.com to learn more. Paid for by Wilson for Mayor.
We were living in D.C. and we were ready to buy our first house, but it was in Salt Lake City.
I found out through family that the house that my dad grew up in was put on the market.
We had less than 24 hours to put an offer in, and it happened to be on New Year's Eve.
So we immediately contacted our realtor. She was on it from the very beginning. We got the house.
We got the house. Being 2,000 miles away, our realtor really helped us. And there's no way we would have gotten the house if we didn't have our realtor.
Discover how a realtor can make a real difference at myrealtorstory.com.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Tim and Amanda.
One of the big differences, I think, between reading a story online and hearing it from us, Tim, is that, you and I are allowed to share a reaction. We need to be able to say, what in the world were they thinking? So that people listening will know. We feel it too. When we read a story that sounds ridiculous, we're right with you. It sounds ridiculous.
Well, we get caught up, I'm sure just like our listeners do sometimes, in death scrolling on social media. And fact-checking it on your own is tough. The great thing about tuning in every morning and starting your morning with us on KSL is you can count on the fact that when that information comes out of the radio in your direction, it comes from reliable sources.
It's already been fact-checked.
Right. And that's not always easy when you're getting it online. Finding who wrote it, when was it written, has it been updated with the current facts of the day that change sometimes minute to minute, not just day to day.
Utah's Morning News between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
People think saving money is hard, but really, it's easy. It's as simple as changing a few spending habits. For free tips on how to save the easy way, check out feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
We're watching Utah's Money at KSL. Mixed market, but a wide swing here. The Dow is down 344 points, while the S&P was down 10. The NASDAQ gained 50 points.
One of the things with running is I want to enjoy the run, but I never made it very far because the arches in my feet just killed me. So when I got to the end of my rope and I said I have to do something to get rid of the pain, and a couple people recommended the Good Feet store to me. I loved how I could go in and get a free personalized arch support fitting. They put that time, that work, that effort into helping you find the right arch supports. And you can walk around this store with these in your shoes and try them out before you purchase them. So after I got my arch supports, the arches on my feet stopped hurting and the pain instantly, literally instantly went away. So if you have pain, go. Find a Good Feet store and go. There is an answer. Find the simple solution that will get rid of your pain. I'm Rondi, and that's my Good Feet story.
See how Good Feet arch supports work for you before you buy with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store. Walk-ins welcome, or visit goodfeet.com for more information.
The Good Feet store, the life you love, starts here.
Let me ask you a question. You have a best friend? How big would it shock you if somebody told you that your best friend just killed somebody?
911, what's your emergency? Someone on the other line said they kidnapped my son, and they're demanding $500,000.
On September 12th, 1995, 12-year-old McKay Everett disappeared from his home in Conroe, Texas. It was a crime that shocked the community because the suspect was so unlikely, so unexpected.
Former high-ranking police official. He'd run for sheriff at one point.
Law enforcement personnel were pretty much split down the middle over whether or not he actually did this.
And to this day, McKay's mother, Paulette, still feels that justice was never truly served.
I've asked myself so many times, what in the world happened?
Ransom is available now. Listen at ransompodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. With honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Ricky Meese.
On the 21st South Freeway, it was originally reported on the westbound side. It's actually eastbound where we have an accident near Redwood Road, and then southbound I-15 slowdowns from Murray to Bluffdale. Mark?
It's been a bit of a travel right now on the Big 3 out west on Mountain View now after SR 201 down to 4100 South. Bangerter's still been pretty rough between California Avenue and SR 201. And 5600 West is heavy, headed to SR 201 as well. Steve.
Northbound 15 still thick in spots between downtown Salt Lake and North Salt Lake, also Clearfield to Riverdale. Now a crash in the mix on I-15 at 200 North in Kaysville. Left lane is closed. And a crash in West Haven. This is on southbound 1900 West at Midland Drive on the right shoulder. Southbound 89, typical slowdowns bogged down through Uinta as you head down the hill there to I-84. Steve Carlson in the KSL Traffic Center.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the nines. We're headed down to 49 overnight, a little bit brisk. Tomorrow it's going to be room temperature late in the afternoon. The high, 72 degrees. Then on Wednesday, a little bit warmer, 75. Thursday, the high only 60.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
This is the 5 o'clock report, 20 minutes of uninterrupted news, commercial free. I'm Jeff Kaplan, KSL's top story. We're learning today that the Cottonwood Heights woman accused of killing her Utah National Guardsman husband while he slept. She went to police the day before the alleged murder, and she was covered in bruises. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera joining us live with details. Eric.
Jeff, these new details were revealed in a new search warrant for Jennifer Gledhill's boyfriend's cell phone. Those documents say Gledhill went to Cottonwood Heights police to report a domestic violence incident and asked for the bruises all over her body to be photographed. She described to police how at one point her husband was on top of her with a closed fist, striking her several times. It also states the officer she talked to saw she had a bruise under her left eye. About a month before, in August, Gledhill filed for a restraining order that was denied just days before she went into police with bruises. It also revealed that Gledhill and her lover met back in July through their kids who play together.
So, Eric, she made her first court appearance earlier today. What came up in that court appearance?
So, Jeff, it was all about whether or not Gledhill would be allowed to see her 3 children. She was dressed in blue prison uniform, and I saw her wipe tears from her eyes as the state's attorney, Chantel Argyle, argued their concern for her children's safety.
We have concerns where we have had similar case scenarios where the minor children have later been attacked or murdered by the defendant.
Her attorney called the move heavy-handed by the state, pointing out the children, ages 11, 7, and 5, aren't listed as alleged victims. Judge Scott Matheson granted the protective order as of today until the case moves forward and the next judge decides. Live, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Police were looking near Farmington Bay today for the body of Gledhill's husband. KSL legal analyst Greg Skorda says it's important to find Matthew Johnson's remains, but yes, they can still have a murder trial even without a body.
The government needs to prove its case, what we call beyond a reasonable doubt, so they can put on circumstantial evidence of his death, such as blood found at the scene, such as the fact that no one has seen or heard from him in over a month, and by the time it gets to trial, it will be well over a year. And the fact that he would have maintained communication with certain individuals and done certain things.
Greg says the statements she made against her husband were also very incriminating. KSL News Time 5:02, a West Jordan man is in jail after a road rage incident that involved a scooter. Friday, 31-year-old Nathan Schwendeman was driving his car in Lehigh when he almost hit someone on a scooter in the bike lane. The man on the scooter flipped off Schwendeman, and then he made a U-turn and drove directly at the scooter, according to police. He only skimmed the man on the scooter's hand before crashing into the curb. He's being charged with aggravated assault and reckless endangerment. Children in the Turpin family who were abused by 2 sets of parents are calling for change. Maria Chaleos is live at the KSL National News Desk.
Jeff, their foster parents were sentenced on child abuse charges last week. Today, the children are reacting through their lawyers like Elon Zexer.
What happened in that home was worse than what happened in their biological parents' home. The abuse that they suffered, psychologically, physically.
The victims say Riverside County, Child Protective Services, and others should be held accountable. A Texas legislative committee today hearing testimony on behalf of an autistic man facing execution for the death of his 2-year-old daughter. Supporters of Robert Robertson insist that his 2003 conviction was based on the now discredited theory of shaken baby syndrome, and they claim the Texas junk science law should have exonerated him. Celebrity psychologist Dr. Phil McGraw interviewed Robertson.
I am 100% convinced that we're facing a miscarriage of justice here.
If executed, Robertson would be the first person in U.S. history to be put to death over a murder conviction based on a shaken baby case. Israel says it's planning to carry out more strikes in Lebanon against a Hezbollah-run financial institution. It says the militant group uses the deposits of Lebanese people to finance rocket attacks against Israel. Israeli forces have struck nearly a dozen branches of that institution. One strike flattened a 9-story building in Beirut. Live from the KSL National News Desk, I'm Maria Chaleos, KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time 5:04 this election season. There seems to be more third-party candidates in Utah. KSL at Night co-host Maura Carabello told us moments ago you might have seen this in some of the statewide debates.
Mostly showing up in the Libertarian Party this year and the United Utah Party, which those of you who don't remember United Utah a handful of years ago, it's essentially a slightly right-of-center group that split off a little from the Republican Party because they felt like they weren't representing it.
Carabello says their goal, these third-party candidates, isn't necessarily to win, but rather to send a message to the Utah Republican Party. KSL News Time 5:05. First look traffic on the 5 o'clock report. Here's Ricky Meese.
Trying to get a look at this accident tying up traffic on the 21st on the I-80 freeway. This is westbound on I-80 just after the SR 201 junction, and this accident is blocking a right lane of traffic and causing delays. We also have Salt Lake City PD wrapping up an accident at 20th East, 2600 South, and slowing eastbound I-80 from Bangerter to I-215's West Belt. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Thanks, Ricky. KSL News Time 5:06. KSL Sports, it's been a surprising college football season so far. BYU undefeated, while the University of Utah's offensive coordinator has left that job. Cam Rising is out for the season, and the results are dismal.
Of course, that's going to cause headaches, and it's going to create some delay in the offense, and we've seen that kind of play out over the last 3 games.
KSL Sports Zone host Hans Olsen says BYU's quarterback Jake Retzlaff has answered the call.
He has been a much better quarterback than anybody expected him to be. He manages the pocket well. He knows what his primary targets are.
And that's why things are upside down this season. BYU on top, Utah floundering. Hans says BYU's entire defensive line has thrived this season. And you're going to hear more on Cougar Nation on KSL News Radio starting at 6 o'clock, brought to you by Central Bank. Tua Tagovailoa, of course, from Miami, the NFL star, plagued by high-profile head injuries on the field, says he's planning to return possibly this weekend.
Miami Dolphins head coach Mike Daniels announcing Tua Tagovailoa will return to practice this week. The quarterback had been following NFL concussion protocol after the latest in a string of head injuries, this one during the Dolphins' Week 2 loss to the Buffalo Bills. Tua accepting the risk.
Every time we all suit up, we're all taking a risk that we could potentially get hurt, whether it's a concussion, a broken bone, anything.
Weighing his health versus his passion for playing.
I love this game, and I love it to the death of me.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
Well, it's been a lovely fall day with more of them on the way, but if this keeps up, it could result in drought. KSL News Radio's Adam Small with details.
KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says we have time to turn things around, but if we stay this dry into mid-December, we'll likely lose some of our spring runoff to the ground since most of the state is already considered abnormally dry by the U.S. Drought Monitor. Nearly a quarter of the state is now in drought status. Matt thinks we will hit our rain and snow averages for the next several months, but it's still too early to be 100% sure.
Our best chance of a storm is next Monday night. KSL News Time 5:08. This is My Minute of News, brought to you by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air, anyhourservices.com. When I leave the state and curious people ask me about Utah, which they assume is a weird place, I get these bizarre questions like, what do they eat? So I want to mention a state dish, and I'm debating with myself, do I go with funeral potatoes, Jell-O, or do I hit them with the dirty soda this time, which requires you to explain the ingredients? Well, you start with Diet Coke, add the coconut, the lime, and then you have to explain why we guzzle, sip, and chug these concoctions to slake our thirst. Too much work, so I go with Jell-O every time. I was back east a couple of weeks ago, and I found something strange, something weird, something I never realized about them. Back east, their Halloween game is weak. There are a few people with their lawns decorated and homes that are, a couple of pumpkins, a sign that says boo. This trip I noticed, and I'm like, is that all you got? Folks, I live in the land straight out of Nightmare Before Christmas. It's like Friday the 13th and the Upside Down put together. Homes become graveyards. Yards host the undead. Skelly from Home Depot is everywhere. In Utah, we invite the fright. And the statistics bear me out. Utah spends more per household on Halloween than any other state in the country, more on decorations, more on candy. We also spend more on Jell-O, which this time of year includes Jell-O cured in molds shaped like jiggling human brains. This is Halloween. In Utah, we own October. So raise your dirty soda up high and toast the scariest state in America. Till Pennsylvania on Election Day.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. So, Ricky, is it a nightmare on the roads?
It's not too bad out there, especially for a Monday. But I think we do have lighter than normal traffic, even though we still have slowdowns. Southbound I-15 going from Murray at 53rd South to Bluffdale. Northbound I-15 looks good from the point of the mountain up to 2100 South. Westbound on the 201, the usual slowing Redwood over to Bangerter, and again as you go from Mountain View Corridor into Magna. Mark?
We'll pick up out west on I-80 where the delays have developed prior to SR 202, the Great Salt Air, and then by the time you get to SR 201, you're back to full speed. So that's a few extra minutes KSL travel time on I-80 westbound in the western part of Salt Lake County. On I-15, it's not as bad, but sluggish volume both sides in Utah County between Orem and Lehigh. Steve.
And right now, emergency vehicles responding to something northbound 15 between 5th South and 6th North right now, thanks to a KSL traffic trooper reporting those delays. Farther up, Clearfield to Riverdale, you're on the brakes there. Got a crash on I-15 at 200 North in Kaysville. Left lane is closed, and delays on northbound 215's West Side Belt from I-80 to North Temple, and southbound 89. Typical slowdowns through Uinta down to the I-84 Rams. Joe Bonamassa performs live in concert Saturday, November 16th at the Eccles Theater. Tickets on sale now at liveeccles.com. Joe Bonamassa, every show is a new experience. Steve Carlson in the KSL Traffic Center.
As we head through the 5 o'clock hour, temperatures near 70 degrees at 5 o'clock will fall into the upper 60s by 6, mid-60s by 7, and low 60s for 8. Ultimate lows will be in the upper 40s under mostly clear skies. With your hourly forecast on the 5 o'clock report, I'm Kevin Eubanks.
70 degrees in Salt Lake City. Sunset tonight at 6:37. KSL News Time 5:11. Travelers will need to say their emotional goodbyes quickly at one New Zealand airport. Maria Chaleos is here.
Jeff, emotional farewells are common sights at airports, but travelers leaving the New Zealand city of Dunedin will have to be quick. A new time limit on goodbye hugs in the airport's drop-off area. It's intended to prevent lingering cuddles from causing traffic jams. Now, the signs posted outside the terminal read, max hug time 3 minutes, adding that those seeking fonder farewells should head to the airport's parking lot instead. Now, the cuddle cap was imposed to keep things moving smoothly in this redesigned passenger drop-off area. But apparently it's caused quite a stir because people don't like being told how long they can hug. The signs were meant as an alternative to those at other airports that warn of wheel clamping or fines for drivers parked in the drop-off areas. Some in Britain have imposed fees for all drop-offs, however brief, but passengers need not worry unduly about enforcement. An airport spokesman says they're not going to call the hug police, although the huggers may be asked to move their lingering embraces to the parking lot where they can cuddle for free for 15 minutes.
Am I ice cold? 3 minutes is enough time.
I would think so, too.
Right?
No, you've seen those people.
Yeah, right. KSL News Time 513. New allegations against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. 7 new lawsuits have been filed. They claim that Diddy raped underage girls. Here's ABC's Aaron Katursky.
There are 7 of them in total, mainly filed here in New York, are alleging sexual assaults and druggings from 2000 to 2022. So a full 2 decades plus of alleged misconduct by Sean Combs. And the plaintiffs vary in age, they vary in gender, but they all tell a similar kind of story. And plaintiffs' attorneys say it's become shockingly familiar.
Diddy is currently in jail in New York, awaiting trial. Salt Lake City police say one person was shot this morning near 7th West and Jackson Avenue. The victim taken to the hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. There was some sort of argument among a group of people that led to the shooting. Several people have been detained. Trending on social media this afternoon, President Biden will award 20 people the National Medal of Arts. Among the honorees, Steven Spielberg, Spike Lee, and Ken Burns, along with singers Missy Elliott and Queen Latifah. 3 people to receive the National Medal of Arts posthumously, the late singer Selena, and among them, chef, author, and TV host Anthony Bourdain. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
Utah soil is continuing to dry out with another stretch of warm, dry weather on tap, and one forecaster says if we don't start seeing a change soon, it could cost us some water come springtime. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, Girl Scouts here in Utah will have to pay more to be members after the National Council voted to raise fees from $25 a year to $65. Third, our biggest traffic trouble spot.
It's a multiple vehicle crash with possible injuries, and we have emergency crews blocking the right lane. This is northbound I-15 and about North Temple, so prior to the 6 North exit. With that right lane blocked, we are seeing delays building. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Another beautiful day with sunshine and 70s, and the trend will continue. I'm Kevin Eubanks.
70 even at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Now, our national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Knocking down repeated falsehoods about the federal response to the hurricanes, the head of the Federal Disaster Agency, to ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy.
Appearing in North Carolina, the former president said FEMA's disaster relief fund is all gone.
They've spent it on illegal migrants.
The FEMA administrator says there will be a need for Congress to replenish the fund, but for now, Deanne Criswell tells me there's still $7.5 billion left.
And no money out of the disaster relief fund has gone to anyone but somebody impacted by a disaster.
I asked Criswell to respond to Trump's claim that FEMA's rescue efforts in North Carolina were almost non-existent.
He just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Campaigning together, Vice President Kamala Harris and former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney at a town hall today in Chester, Pennsylvania. The VP.
In many, many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man. But the consequences of him being president of the United States are brutally serious.
The FBI and Defense Department are investigating what could be a significant intelligence breach, disclosing what appears to be classified information about Israel's plans to hit Iran. That from U.S. officials. 2 documents leaked to social media seem to reveal U.S. analysis of Israel's plans in response to an Iranian missile attack this month, giving reasons why the Biden administration's proposing that private insurance companies cover the entire costs of birth control for men and women. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. She says it's because of the Supreme Court overturning abortion rights.
Why we're doing this is because of the Dobbs decision. It's because now we have women out there who don't have the protections that they need on their own health care because Roe v. Wade, which was law of the land for almost a constitutional right for almost 50 years, were stripped away.
You're listening to ABC News.
And time for the in-depth on KSL. A West Jordan man has been charged in a road rage case that involved a scooter. KSL TV's Daniel Woodruff has details.
31-year-old Nathan Schwendeman of West Jordan is behind bars and charged in this case. According to charging documents, Schwendeman was driving his vehicle last Monday when he almost hit somebody riding a scooter in the bike lane. Police say the man on that scooter flipped off the vehicle, after which they say Schwendeman made a U-turn and drove directly at the scooter, trying to hit him. Schwendeman is now charged with aggravated assault and reckless endangerment, but both charges are enhanced because it involved road rage. That's possible through a brand new state law.
I think all road rage is disappointing and disheartening, but especially someone on a scooter, a scooter versus a car, with the car weighing so much, the person on the scooter has no chance at all.
Senator Todd Weiler sponsored that road rage law. He says he hopes it deters others from engaging in road rage, but he says Utah still deals with several dozen cases of road rage each month.
Schwendeman is being held without bail in the Utah County Jail and is set to appear in court again tomorrow. KSL News Time 5:19 now. Your traffic and weather together. We do it every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Ricky, what's going on?
Slowdowns remain southbound on I-15 from 5300 south to about 146 south, westbound on the 201, heavy and slow from 9th west almost to Bangerter, and again from Mountain View into Magna. Eastbound I-80 also a little busy and slow as you go from Bangerter to I-215's West Belt. Mark?
Boy, it is rough driving on I-80. You're going to expect some delays headed westbound just as you turn the curve and head down toward SR-202. Prior to SR-201, it looks like some big trouble that's been reported there. We're looking at it in UDOT jam cams, and it's still heavy. Bangerter Highway getting down to SR-201 from earlier troubles down around 2500 south. And then I-15 in Utah counties just sluggish, no wrecks between Orem and American Fork. Steve.
Backups on northbound 15 this afternoon. Got a crash at North Temple. Incident management and a fire truck blocking that right lane. So expect delays at 21st South. More slowdowns farther up into Davis County, Clearfield up to Riverdale. We have delays on northbound 215's westbound from the eastbound I-80 transition ramp as you head north onto the westbound. Southbound 89 still bogged down in Uinta. Fall is upon us, and Murdoch Hyundai is offering 1.99% for 5 years on the 2025 Tucson. Murdoch Hyundai, Logan, Linden, Murray, MurdochHyundai.com. Steve Carlson at the KSL Traffic Center.
The KSL 7-day forecast stays beautiful with temperatures for the most part above normal and lots of sunshine. Tonight, 49 for the low, 72 and sunny on our Tuesday, 76 and sunny Wednesday. We'll dip a little bit on Thursday as a little cool front goes by. It drops us to 60 degrees. Then we're right back to the 70s for the weekend. It looks fantastic. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
We're at 70 degrees in Salt Lake City, your 7-day forecast. Brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. We'll check the markets in just a moment.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, only on KSL News Radio.
The shoes on my feet, I bought the clothes I'm wearing, I bought the rock I'm rocking, I bought 'cause I depend on me, I depend on me. All the women independent, throw your hands up at me. All the honeys making money, throw your hands up at me. All the mamas rock the dollar, throw your hands up at me.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Since 2012, the Utah Clean Air Partnership, or UCARE, has been at the forefront of improving Utah's air quality. By empowering others to take action, UCARE is driving meaningful change for cleaner, healthier air across the state. Executive Director Lindsay Smith joins us with more.
UCARE is dedicated to helping individuals, businesses, and communities make small changes to improve Utah's air. Every small change contributes to a bigger positive impact. UCARE accomplishes our work through educational programs and messaging campaigns, grants that support innovative solutions, and fostering partnerships with a broad network of organizations. While Utah's air quality has improved over the last 30 years, we still have work to do to reduce emissions that lead to winter inversions and summertime ozone. In Salt Lake County, our homes and our cars account for roughly 70% of the emissions that negatively impact air quality. This means that we, as individuals, have the power to make a real difference in the quality of the air we breathe. through simple actions such as reducing idling, taking public transit, trip chaining, walking or biking, and more. We contribute to the health, economic prosperity, and well-being of the communities in which we live.
UCare knows that even the smallest actions can spark bigger movement, leading to cleaner air, healthier communities, a stronger economy, and a better quality of life for everyone. Find out how you can make a difference at ucare.org. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
It's official. KSL Sports is your official radio home of the Utah Hockey Club. When the puck hits the ice this fall, you'll hear every goal, every check, and every tension-filled moment on the KSL Sports Zone. Plus, let your voice be heard on the Utah Hockey Club Fan Forum on KSLSports.com, your exclusive home of the NHL and the Utah Hockey Club in Utah is KSL Sports and 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Have you ever heard of the 5 Ps? That's right, the 5 Ps. These can be applied to most every area of your life, but it's especially true for you and your money. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and many years ago when I was a young man in the Marine Corps, I learned about the 5 Ps. Proper planning prevents poor performance. Now, you can't control what's happening with the stock market, but you can control how you plan for it. Trajan Wealth and our fiduciary advisors have been helping our clients with the 5 Ps for years. We have hearts of teachers and will never complicate by using financial jargon. Our fee structure is transparent. The more you make, the more we make. The majority of our clients come from other financial advisors. Isn't it time for a second opinion to allow Trajan Wealth to help you with the 5 Ps too? Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600 or visit TrajanWealth.com.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Falls right on time.
No freeze warnings, but it's going to be very, very cold overnight in many of those higher elevations.
Days are shorter and nights are cooler. Better to just roll with it. Get an updated KSL forecast every time you jump in the car. Just pop on KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
That's us. We're watching Utah's money at KSL. Looks like the Boeing strike could end Wednesday. Machinists will vote midweek on a new deal that'll include, listen to this, a 35% wage increase plus a signing bonus of $78,000. On the news, Boeing stock up 3% today. Nike has renewed its partnership with the NBA and WNBA. They'll be partnering with both leagues till 2037. Their first deal kicked off 7 years ago and was worth $1 billion. There's no telling how much this contract might be worth. Some local impact from the nationwide recall of frozen waffles. They're sold under a host of names at grocery stores, but these waffles are also sold by Kodiak Cakes of Park City, which is now recalling its dark chocolate, chocolate chip, buttermilk, and vanilla waffle flavors. Wall Street today, a mixed market, but the swing is wild. The Dow down 344 points at 42,931. The S&P lost 10 points, while the NASDAQ was up 50.
Imagine a currency that has true value, a currency that's local, protects your wealth, and resists inflation. Now imagine that currency is anchored to the stability of gold. Introducing Goldbacks, a currency made of 24-karat gold, accepted at over 800 businesses in Utah. Don't just imagine it. Visit alpinegold.com to start spending in gold. Use promo code RADIO to get free shipping on orders of over $200 or more.
Starting the first day of next year, every public classroom in Louisiana is going to be required by law to have the 10 Commandments prominently displayed. Supporters and opponents of the new statute have been making their arguments to a federal judge today.
One of the biggest backers of Louisiana's new law is Governor Jeff Landry.
If you want to respect the rule of law, you got to start from the original lawgiver, which was Moses.
Organizations like the Freedom from Religion Foundation argue that
our nation was the first to separate religion from government.
The foundation's Annie Laurie Gaylor. State officials will defend the new law before a judge will decide whether it should be put on hold while lawsuits against it continue. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Join KSL and Tim and Amanda this Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. at the Salt Lake NPS store, 1600 Empire Road, npsstore.com.
At Social Security, we are always thinking of ways to save you time and make things easier. That's why we created My Social Security. Opening a My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal record and interactive tools tailored for you. You can see if you are eligible to receive benefits, view spousal benefit estimates, and compare retirement benefit estimates at different ages or dates when you want to start receiving benefits. Already receiving benefits? Use your account to change your address, set up or change direct deposit, get a proof of income letter, and more. In most states, you can also request a replacement Social Security card. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Join your friends who rely on KSL each morning for the fastest routes to work and school.
I am listening for the traffic.
I'll always know if somebody's going to be late to work.
That's often what's on when I'm driving.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s.
On KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Ricky Meese.
A slow ride southbound I-15 from Murray, starting right about 5300 south all the way to Bluffdale, and westbound on the 201 from 9th west to Bangor, and again at 5600 west to Magna. Mark?
Got big slowdowns on westbound I-80 around the Great Salt Air. Mucking things up is a wreck westbound prior to SR 201, and you got extra southbound delays around Pleasant Grove Boulevard. One of those exit ramps you got a wreck. Then you got northbound delays coming Center Street Orem up to First North Linden. Steve.
And backups on northbound 15 at 21st South now due to a crash just before 6 North. That's blocking the right lane. That wreck is also backing traffic on the eastbound I-80 flyover ramp as you head north onto 15. More delays farther up Clearfield to Riverdale, and delays on northbound 215's West Belt from I-80 to North Temple. Steve Carlson in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's been a beautiful day with tons of sunshine. Temperatures back in the low 70s, well above our normal of 63. We're going to do that again on Tuesday and Wednesday. We do have a little front that's going to go by on Wednesday night, and that'll drop us into the 60s to finish the week, but it stays nice. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
And right now in Ogden, 68 degrees. In Provo, 68. Hanging in there in Logan at 66, while in St. George they have sunshine and 74 degrees.
You're listening to Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM
and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon, 5:30 at KSL. Jeff Kaplan here. 70 in Salt Lake City, KSL's top story. The bleak reality of the local restaurant scene. Sit-down restaurants are still struggling after the pandemic, and more than a few have been closing, waiting for the customers to come back. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson with details.
It's one of the industries hit hardest by the pandemic, and they haven't been able to catch a break since. President and CEO of the Utah Restaurant Association, Melva Sine, says restaurant owners are seeing 15 to 32% cost increases in every area, and customer percentages are below any of those increases. And this has meant an end to many of our favorite local Utah eateries.
Just around Salt Lake City, Stanza, SLC Eatery, and at least a dozen more have recently shut their doors for good. There could be a new option for Trax riders. Utah is considering 4 different options for what they're calling the Orange Line. So where will this Orange Line take you?
Run from Research Park up by the University of Utah out all the way to the Salt Lake City International Airport through the downtown area.
UTA spokesman Aaron Bruff says the agency will choose a plan by the end of the year and have the $390 million Trax line ready in time for the 2034 Olympics. Inflation is even hitting the Girl Scouts. They're raising the membership fee for the first time in 8 years. It was $25. KSL News Radio's Claire Scott has the story.
The Girl Scouts of Utah say the higher fee will not be immediate. They are phasing the payment so members pay $45 for the 2026 year before it jumps to the approved fee of $65 in 2027. The State Council says the membership dues will help them serve their current communities and reach out to new families. Local Girl Scout leaders say that if families are worried about the price, they can apply for financial aid through the Girl Scouts of Utah.
Girl Scouts are a nonprofit. There are 2.5 million of them nationwide. Vice President Kamala Harris today appealing to Republicans to vote for her instead of him. Maria Chaleos is live at the KSL National News Desk.
Jeff, Vice President Harris and former Congresswoman Liz Cheney appearing at a town hall in Pennsylvania.
There are moments
in the history of our country which challenge us, each of us, to really decide, do we stand for those things that we talk about, including a particular country over party.
Liz Cheney, a Republican, has endorsed Harris, calling Trump a threat to U.S. democracy. Meantime, former President Trump was in North Carolina, once again criticizing Governor Roy Cooper and the federal hurricane response.
I'm not hearing that he's done a very good job. And certainly you have all heard the same stories that we all hear, that FEMA has done a very poor job.
Mr. Trump repeating the falsehood that the response was hampered because FEMA spent its budget helping people who crossed the border illegally. During her daily briefing, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre outlining the federal response in North Carolina.
In total, nearly $2 billion in federal assistance has been approved for those affected by recent storms. In North Carolina, the administration has approved more than $300 million in assistance.
Governor Roy Cooper today saying that he's concerned about the misinformation that's being spread.
Storm recovery cannot be partisan. To truly help people, we must check party politics at the door and get this job done.
Live from the KSL National News Desk, I'm Maria Chaleos, KSL News Radio.
Well, a late October attack or a smear campaign on a political opponent might not do much because millions of ballots have already been sent in across the country. KSL at Night host Adam Gardner told David Nujanovic states are seeing record numbers of voters.
It looks like in the swing states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Democrats are voting at a much greater numbers than Republicans. So that should be concerning to Republicans. In Pennsylvania, Democrats, 64% of those that have turned in ballots are Democrats. Only 27% are Republicans. The only swing state that really is good news for Republicans is in Arizona, where 43% of Republicans have turned in their ballot and 36% of those turning in their ballot are Democrats.
KSL at Night host Adam Gardner. It's 5:34. So the landlord decided not to renew her lease. Somebody decided to burn that Eagle Mountain home to the ground, and there's now a warrant for the arrest of the tenant, 45-year-old Chantel Desiree Jones. Police believe she's fled the state. The same woman was already part of a federal lawsuit against the Saratoga Springs police. She claimed an officer sexually assaulted her, and the city covered it up. KSL News Time 5:35. The toxicology report is back. One Direction star Liam Payne had dangerous drugs running through his system when he died.
Sources tell ABC News that multiple substances were found in Payne's system, including pink cocaine, a popular but potentially dangerous party drug, cocaine, benzodiazepine, and crack. An improvised aluminum pipe to ingest was also found in his hotel room. His body will remain in Argentina until the autopsy is complete. The night of Payne's death, hotel officials called authorities to report that he was behaving erratically. He tragically plunged to his death from a balcony.
ABC's Ariel Reshef. So, Ricky Meese, you perfectly displayed the difference between Yankees and Dodgers fans a few hours ago. I called you my mortal enemy because I'm a Yankees fan, and you as a Dodgers fan said you wish everybody luck.
I do. But I still want to win. Don't get me wrong, Jeff.
I got you.
But we'll still be friends after it's over, no matter who wins.
But for that week.
That way is going to be rough.
What's going on?
We have emergency traffic now westbound I-80 due to this accident blocking a right lane on the way to Tooele County. It's prior to the 201 junction. We also have emergency crews responding to an accident, an auto versus bike at 1700 South, 1100 East. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Thanks, Ricky. My Minute's on the way next. Stay right here.
Get ready. Mortgage rates are at the lowest they've been in a while. So make time for Hercules First Federal Credit Union. You've been patient, and now it pays off. Discover a variety of flexible mortgage options and products for everyone, even those of you with less than perfect credit. First-time home buyer? Hercules programs deliver specialized mortgages with low down payment options. That means the dream of home ownership is within reach of more of the community. Refinancing? Hercules helps you lower your monthly payments, consolidate debt, or reduce high interest rates. And Hercules helps support you beyond the mortgage, offering help with budgeting, lots of ownership tips, and timely advice. Hercules has been offering high-quality service and products since 1946. So discover more at HerculesCU.com. HerculesCU.com. Hercules First Federal Credit Union, growing stronger together. Learn more at HerculesCU.com. Equal housing lender, insured by NCUA.
Hi, Grandma. Can Nina come over for dinner?
Sure. I've been meaning to ask you, what would happen if someone offered you a drink?
Grandma?
If anyone ever does, I want you to say, no, I have too much respect for my family and I don't want to get in trouble.
I promise, Grandma.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. That's underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. This message brought to you by SAMHSA and this station.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, what are you waiting for? Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
This is My Minute of News, brought to you by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air, anyhourservices.com. I think we can safely assume Donald Trump doesn't sing Taylor Swift songs in the shower. After her endorsement of Kamala Harris, he posted, "I hate Taylor Swift."
She's a very liberal person. She seems to always endorse a Democrat, and she'll probably pay a price for it in the marketplace.
But there was a time when Trump apparently liked her enough to blast her music in his car. This audio is from a Facebook video of Donald Trump driving his Rolls Royce. It's shot from inside the car, Barron's in the passenger seat, and the song blasting is Blank Space by Taylor Swift. The video ends like that. Presumably, Taylor Swift is now banned from the Trump Rolls-Royce as the pundits debate Taylor Swift's impact on the election.
Is it possible that she could have more of an impact as a celebrity endorser than we've seen in the past? I think that's certainly possible.
They point out nearly 500,000 of her fans flocked to a voter registration website right after that endorsement, and some fans have gone much, much farther. In critical Pennsylvania, the Wall Street Journal reports Swifties have been making friendship bracelets by the thousands. They bear phrases like Miss Amerikamala. The bracelets are left at places like Target for free right by the Taylor Swift display. Meantime, Swifties are raising hundreds of thousands of dollars for Kamala Harris. But will it sway the election? There's no evidence Taylor Swift has convinced anyone to change sides. Lots of people love her music and ignore her politics, but she could light a fuse in some fans who wouldn't have bothered to vote otherwise. Maybe, maybe not, but as the polls show in this one, every vote counts.
And I'll write your name.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
This is emergency traffic. You'll want to listen closely. We're brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Ricky, what's going on?
This is a crash westbound I-80. It's after the 202 junction, but before the SR 201 junction, and it's been blocking a right lane. It's been there for a while. We have stop and go delays back to the Great Salt Lake, about Saltaire. So anticipate a long drive getting into Tooele County. You might want to consider using the 201 tonight instead of I-80. Now, southbound I-15 in Salt Lake County, heavy and slow between 5300 South and Bluffdale, and some slowing westbound on the 201 9th west to Bangerter, and from 5600 west into Magna. Mark?
I am seeing some Bangerter delays, a little unusual, so we're checking for trouble on Bangerter heading westbound away from the freeway prior to Redwood Road, and we're checking over at 2700 west to see if there might be some trouble there. On I-15, you've been very heavy in Utah County, maybe the worst of it, Orem Center Street, heading up to American Fork 5th East, and then it's not been as bad, but still heavy prior to Lehigh Main Street, down toward about Geneva Road area. Steve?
More emergency traffic on northbound 15 right now at 21st South, from 21st South, all due to a crash just before 6 North. That's blocking the right lane. It's also causing big backups on the eastbound I-80 flyover ramp as you head north onto northbound I-15. More delays, Sunset to Roy, southbound I-15 busy in the work zone, Riverdale to Sunset, and delays on northbound 215's west belt from I-80 to North Temple. And it's a car versus bike accident, 17th South at 1100 East clearing right now. Common Spirit, hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced health care in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Steve Carlson at KSL Traffic Center.
Beautiful sunshine and temperatures back in the 70s. The trend looks to continue on Tuesday and Wednesday. We will see a little front go by, not much of an impact other than maybe a few clouds, but the temperatures will drop. We'll be in the low 60s on Thursday and mid to upper 60s on Friday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
It's 70 degrees in Salt Lake City. It was the best of times and worst of times. Yeah. That's what they say about the football season in Utah this year. Stay with us. Details on the way. We're streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com. This is Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Are you frustrated because you've been exercising and eating healthy, but you still can't lose weight? We know the secret to losing weight and getting healthy the natural way, without drugs or injections. At SaltLakeCityFatLoss.com, many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two without prepackaged meals. No exercising, no hormones, no injections, drugs, or surgery. Go to SaltLakeCityFatLoss.com now.
I'm Maria Chaleos. I spent way too much of my life beating myself up over being overweight. With the help of Salt Lake City Fat Loss, I was able to quickly lose more than 40 pounds, and I look and feel better than I have in years. Check out this great program for yourself at slcfatloss.com.
To learn about our program, go to SaltLakeCityFatLoss.com and schedule your free private phone consultation. Our staff will walk you through our entire program, talk about your health goals, and see if it's a good fit for you. Call 801-450-1882 or go to SaltLakeCityFatLoss.com to schedule your free phone consultation now. That's SaltLakeCityFatLoss.com. Results may vary.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good?
Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good?
Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Keep your business connected with Comcast Business Internet and Wi-Fi backup. Or get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online today. Ends 11/17/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet and security edge. EcoBill and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change.
KSL News Time 5:45. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
UTA is still finalizing plans, but it's pushing for a new tracks line that could be built in time for the 2034 Winter Olympics. It would be called the Orange Line. I'm KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi.
Second, new documents show the Cottonwood Heights woman accused of murdering her husband in his sleep went to police the day before he died. She was covered in bruises and claiming that he abused her. Third, our biggest traffic trouble spot.
That would be westbound I-80 with an accident blocking a right lane prior to the SR 201 junction, causing heavy delays. A KSL traffic trooper saying southbound I-15 in Provo, just north of Provo Center Street, traffic down to 3 miles an hour, and a crash where a car may have gone into a building. 450 East, 2700 South. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Sunny skies with temperatures back in the 70s. I'm Kevin Eubank.
It's 70 at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Now our top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Knocking down false allegations from Donald Trump that the federal hurricane response is running out of money, has done a poor job, and is instead giving money to illegal migrants. The head of the Federal Disaster Agency, FEMA, Deanne Criswell, to ABC News.
We had people on the ground embedded side by side in the North Carolina EOC before landfall.
Criswell says there's over $7.5 billion left for disaster relief, and all the money's going to those affected. Republican and Democratic governors in the hurricane zone praise FEMA's work. Big turnouts continue for early voting in the U.S. Georgia officials say over 1.5 million have voted early in the past 8 days. Millions of men and women with private health insurance would be able to pick up over-the-counter birth control methods for free under a new rule the White House proposed today. Gasoline prices went down some more over the past week, according to the Energy Department. This is ABC News.
And now the in-depth on KSL. The football season is not going as expected. Look, BYU is undefeated. The Utes are shuffling coaches in desperation. It was not supposed to be this way. KSL Sports Zone host Hans Olsen joined me live earlier, and he called this one of the most unbelievable college football seasons in Utah ever.
It floors me what's happening right now. As you talked about the coaching shuffle at Utah, the 7-0 record at BYU, it is just a spectacular season full of entertainment and storylines.
Okay, so what did the experts get wrong about each of these two teams. BYU was supposed to be meh. Utah was going all the way.
Well, let's start with Utah. Cam Rising was expected to be the starting quarterback without problem, without injury. He comes back, runs into a Gatorade bottle. He ends up jacking up a hand, causing major problems. He's out for a period of time. He comes back, jacks up a leg, and then he's permanently out, leaving you with Isaac Wilson, true freshman, to be your starting quarterback. Of course, that's going to cause headaches, and it's going to create some delay in the offense, and we've seen that kind of play out over the last 3 games. As far as BYU's concerned, Jake Retzloff has answered the call, Jeff. He has been a much better quarterback than anybody expected him to be. He manages the pocket well. He knows what his primary targets are. He has an offensive line that's blocked very well for him in the beginning parts of this season. He has well exceeded expectations, but it's not just about Jake Retzloff. Jeff, they have put together one of the nation's best defenses. They've got 3 of the best linebackers across the country in Harrison Taggart, in Isaiah Glasker, and in Jack Kelly, the transfer out of Weber State. This defense has shocked so many people, and it sits as one of the top defenses in the country statistically in almost every major category.
Hans Olsen, you can hear more about BYU football. Cougar Nation is coming up in just a few minutes here on KSL News Radio, just after 6 o'clock. KSL News Time 5:49. We have emergency traffic. We're brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Ricky, what's the deal?
This is westbound I-80. We had an accident that had been blocking a right lane of traffic just before the 201 junction going from Magna towards Tooele. And that's all it took to really jam up the drive with heavy delays, miles of delays back to the Great Salt Lake and Salt Air. So, again, you might want to consider using the 201 to get into Tooele County tonight. Now, southbound I-15 remains heavy and slow from just before the south interchange through Draper, and spots of slowing westbound on the 201 scattered from about 13th West off and on into Magna. Mark?
Doing pretty well heading into Lehigh right now on southbound I-15. You really won't see any reduced speeds until you get down to Pioneer Crossing, and then by the time you get past Pleasant Grove Boulevard, you are back good again. Now, I'm seeing some fresh delays further down around 820 North in Provo, so we're investigating a crash there. And then on the northbound side, it looks like nothing but ordinary rush hour volume between Center Street and up to 5th East American Fork. Steve?
And we're still looking at delays on northbound 15 from 33rd South now up to about North Salt Lake. Got a crash there at the clearing stages. Had a wreck just before 6 North there. Still there on the right shoulder. It's also causing a few backups on the flyover ramp there from eastbound I-80. More delays Sunset to Roy, and southbound 15 also busy from Riverdale to Sunset. Steve Carlson in the KSL Traffic Center.
Sunny skies today, and the trend continues tonight. 49 for the low, 72 and sunny on our Tuesday. Sunshine and 76 on Wednesday. A little front will go by, and that'll drop temperatures into the 60s on Thursday and Friday, but no major storminess. We'll go back to the 70s Saturday, Sunday, then another cool down Monday with the chance of a few stray showers late in the afternoon and evening. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
Your 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. 70 degrees. Well, in a few minutes, we get to see if Mitch Harper grew even taller. I swear to you, every time BYU gets on a win streak, this guy gets taller. He's running at about 8 feet now. It's 5:51.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, only on KSL News Radio.
Look in my eyes, what do you see? The cult of personality. Like Mussolini and Kennedy, I'm the cult of personality. The cult of personality. I am not what your country can do for you.
Imagine a currency that has true value. A currency that's local, protects your wealth, and resists inflation. Now imagine that currency is anchored to the stability of gold. Introducing Goldbacks, a currency made of 24-karat gold, accepted at over 800 businesses in Utah. Don't just imagine it. Visit alpinegold.com to start spending in gold. Use promo code RADIO to get free shipping on orders of over $200 or more.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Meet Brian. He just got $5,000, and it was pretty easy. I'll tell you how in 10 seconds. Brian needed cash help. After being rejected by banks, he tried 27cash.com. Told them how much he needed, even let them know he had bad credit. In minutes, 27cash.com found a lender who deposited $5,000 into his bank account the very next day. If you need cash help, even if you have bad credit, go to 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm, I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Number 7.
Intercepted! Tommy Precious picks it off!
That is one lucky number.
The touchdown!
7-0. Congrats to our BYU Cougars. Join the BYU faithful. Listen to Cougar Nation tonight from 6 to 7 on KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
We're watching Utah's Money at KSL. McDonald's seems a bit upset that a franchise owner in Pennsylvania invited Donald Trump to work the drive-thru over the weekend. Could you imagine you're rolling up on the McDonald's waiting for your Big Mac and look who is on the other side of the window? McDonald's put out a statement this morning emphasizing the company does not endorse candidates for elected office. LeBron James is this coming season's highest-paid NBA player, his 11th straight year holding the title from Forbes. He makes over $128 million. Starting tomorrow, Starbucks will be selling themed drinks based on Glinda and Elphaba, the stars of Wicked. The Broadway show now being turned into a movie. The Glinda's Pink Potion features dragon fruit and mango. Elphaba's Cold Brew features green candy sprinkles and peppermint. I hope I pronounced their names correctly because Wicked, I don't. On Wall Street today, the Dow is down 344 points, closing at 42,931. Meantime, the S&P was down a mere 10, while the NASDAQ was up 50 points. KSL News Time 5:56. Cougar Tracks now, brought to you by America First Credit Union. Here's BYU insider Mitch Harper.
BYU football maintained its undefeated record after putting together a last-minute touchdown drive to defeat Oklahoma State. Quarterback Jake Retzloff connected with wide receiver Darius Lassiter for a 35-yard touchdown to give BYU the 38-35 win and improve their record to 7-0 this season. Retzloff reflected on the moment.
It's magical. It's spiritual. How can you not be romantic about this game? Just something like that. A couple of the guys, Waylon Abuaho was in tears on the sideline. Connor Pay scooting around in tears. Like, it's a special experience, man. And doing it at home makes it even more fun. It was fun. It was just unbelievable, man. That's something that's going to be talked about for a long time, especially in my household.
BYU is now up to number 11 in the AP Top 25 poll and will prepare to take on the UCF Knights this Saturday at 1:30 p.m. right here on KSL. With Cougar Tracks, I'm Mitch Harper on your legacy home of the BYU Cougars, KSL News Radio.
What's better than a credit card with a low interest rate? How about one with no interest? For a limited time, when you open a new America First Visa, you'll enjoy 0% APR purchases for the first 6 months. Yep, all that buying power and not a single cent of interest for 6 months. That means no interest on summer fun, no interest on back-to-school gear, and no interest on holiday shopping. Interested? Then hurry to AmericaFirst.com to apply for yours today. Introductory variable annual percentage rate. Membership eligibility terms, creditworthiness, and conditions apply. See AmericaFirst.com/Visa for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal opportunity lender.
Hey, Benjamin, we've got a surprise for you.
What?
You have a brother. A $100 bill just like you.
Hey, I'm Ben.
What?
We just got him for joining America First Credit Union and opening a new checking account.
And you're going to live together at America First.
What?
This is nice.
For a limited time, new members get a $100 cash bonus when they open a checking account or $50 when they open a youth checking account. So head to AmericaFirst.com and get your money working today. Membership eligibility terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Premium checking from America First Credit Union. Learn more at americafirst.com.
Millions plan for retirement online. Estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, and manage your benefits all from the comfort of your home. And give yourself the freedom to do what you want offline. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Emergency traffic on KSL, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Ricky, how are we doing?
It's still pretty rough out there. This is westbound I-80, a crash prior to the 201 junction, and it is still causing delays past Salt Air by the Great Salt Lake. Mark?
Well, this wreck is other side of I-80, going to be eastbound around State Street coming from I-15. Looks like it's over on the right shoulder, getting a bit of a backup. And then in Utah County, everything is normal on I-15 between Lehigh and Linden, but you have some more delays further southbound around 820 north in Provo. Steve.
And delays into downtown, northbound 15 from 33rd south. That's all due to that crash clearing just before 6 north on the right shoulder. Delays on northbound 215's west side belt persist from I-80 up to North Temple. Good speeds on Legacy, Highway 89, and the West Davis Highway. Steve Carlson in the KSL Traffic Center.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the nines. So we're headed down to 49 degrees. It'll be on the chilly side overnight. Tomorrow, we're expecting room temperature. High temperature around 72 degrees, warmer with sunshine for Wednesday. Look for 76. Then Thursday, the high, only 60.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
6 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Kaplan. KSL's top local story this hour, a twist in the case. The Cottonwood Heights woman accused of killing her husband while he slept went to police the day before he died. Covered in bruises, she was. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera with details.
The new details were revealed in a search warrant for Jennifer Gledhill's lover's cell phone. Those documents say Gledhill went to Cottonwood Heights police to report she had been beaten by her husband and asked them to take pictures of the bruises all over her body. She told police she wasn't sure if she fell asleep or lost consciousness after she was hit. It also states the officer she talked to saw she had a bruise under her left eye and her arms.
This comes after the district attorney, Sim Gill, stated in charging documents that she was found by the court to be an innocent and says the soil was already dried out, but there's still time for us to turn things around starting in November.
If you miss out on 2 of those months, now you're at a big deficit, but you've also lost precious time when the jet stream should be down here and it's not.
Matt thinks the rain and snowfall will start picking up again with the storm next week. If it doesn't, we're looking at the possibility of drought. Coming up, a look at the weather ahead this week. The KSL forecast is on the way next. KSL News Time, 6:02.
The Management Minute is a service of the MBA program in the John M. Huntsman School of Business at Utah State University. I'm Scott Hammond. Words used by ambitious politicians are making their way into the workplace and poisoning collaborative relationships. We are quick to call an inaccuracy a lie, label someone who disagrees with us an enemy, and invoke the rhetoric of conflict by calling every challenge a fight and using every mistake as a reason to fire someone. Good leaders lower the temperature, listen carefully to criticism, and use the language of collaboration to build common ground. Learn more about good language and good leadership in an MBA program at Utah State University. Go to utahstatemba.com. That's utahstatemba.com. I'm Scott Hammond. Hope to see you in one of our classes.
Trail mix, beef jerky, mixing all the soda flavors at the gas station soda machine. Snacks are better on the road. The gas is better when it's top tier. And the pit stop is better when there's a dinosaur there. Love the filler moments at a Sinclair gas station near you with Dino Care, our top tier gasoline. Some sweet and salty snacks for the commute and a big green dino for the memories. Find a gas station near you at sinclairoil.com. Sinclair, fill up your life.
At Progressive, we know there's a lot of things you can track. Steps, calories, heart rate, your pet steps, screen time, the whereabouts of your favorite celebrity, how long you slept, how long you didn't sleep, how long you thought about sleeping, how long you thought about sleeping. But none of these things could save you money, unlike Snapshot from Progressive, which customizes your rate based on how and how much you drive. It's much better for your bottom line than tracking your Cocker Spaniel's resting heart rate. So download the Progressive app today.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
Order for Jennifer C. Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve? Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine? Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year? Well, I do now. Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year? Yeah, you just said that. Did you say I just said that? Yeah, I'm cutting you off. Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Buying or selling a home is a big deal. Literally. It's one of the largest financial transactions you're likely to make. So work with someone who will work with your best interests in mind. Someone who agrees to operate with transparency, honesty, and fairness every step of the way. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors and are bound by a strict code of ethics that requires they put your interests above their own. Because that's who we are. Make sure your agent is a Realtor.
This is the story of a very special woman. Just a few knew about her superpowers. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. Did you know that we offer 3 distinct styles of gutter protection? Each one meant to handle a specific leaf problem. You might not even know there are different styles of gutter protection, but there are. And if you pick the wrong one, it could be a huge waste of money. Now, the big gutter guard companies won't tell you this. They try to sell you a one-size-fits-all gutter guard. And it could be completely wrong for the amount and types of trees and leaves you have. Not RGS Exteriors. We understand which kind of leaf problem needs which kind of gutter guard. We'll do an in-depth evaluation to assess the types, locations, and numbers of trees in your yard. Based on that data, we match your home to the right gutter guard. So don't risk wasting money on the wrong gutter protection. For a free evaluation and estimate, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsexteriors.com.
Listen to KSL for news to get exactly what you want.
Stories about what's going to affect me.
Traffic. If I want to know now, I'll go to KSL Radio.
Hear the important stories, the stories that affect you.
On KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Ricky Meese.
We still have emergency traffic westbound I-80 with about 4 to 5 miles of solid slowdowns starting prior to Salt Air and the Great Salt Lake. It's all due to the accident prior to the 201 junction westbound I-80. If you're in Salt Lake County, heavy and slow traffic delays are breaking up, and now they're scattered southbound I-15 from Murray to Bluffdale. Northbound I-15, spots of slowing from South Salt Lake to 6 North. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather forecast. We're expecting a low of 49 overnight, 72 degrees for tomorrow. Thursday, it's going to cool off a bit with a high of only 60. Right now, 70 degrees. I'm Jeff Kaplan, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The following is a presentation of KSL Sports. Hello, Cougar Nation.
Handoff middle. First down. Touchdown! And listen to the Cougar Nation.
Every Monday night, we break down the Cougars' last game and look ahead to next week. Cougar Nation, brought to you by Central Bank. Here's BYU insider Mitch Harper and Matt Baiamonte on Utah's legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio.
Welcome on in, Cougar Nation. Good evening. Mitch Harper here with you live from Broadcast House in Salt Lake City. Man, these times are good, right? Are they not, Cougar Nation? BYU 7-0. Number 11 in the AP Top 25, flying high after that big win over Oklahoma State, 38-35 on Friday night. Just a huge moment, an iconic moment in BYU football history that will be remembered for many years to come going forward. We'll be taking your phone calls here throughout the evening. Coming up around segment 2, segment 3, around 6:20-ish, we'll get to your phone calls. There's so much to unpack tonight with this show this evening, but we want to hear from you, obviously. 801-575-8255. Load up the phone lines around 6:20, and we'll get to your calls here. BYU is going to be taking on the UCF Knights this Saturday. We'll get a preview of that game. It's going to be a loaded show here for you tonight here on Cougar Nation. Matt Baiamonte will be joining us, too, a little bit later this program as Matt is with some of his family, so we'll be checking in with him remotely this evening. Every week, if you're new to the show, we hold it down here every Monday night talking BYU football here on Cougar Nation. And let's recap that Oklahoma State win with some takeaways.
Cougar Nation takeaways. Mitch and Matt analyze BYU's last week of play and what it means for the next week.
BYU 38, Oklahoma State 35. Be honest, Cougar Nation. That last 73 seconds when BYU's offense took the field, were you like me and thinking it's over? BYU's not going to pull this out. I know the players believed. I know Jake Retzlaff believed. I know everyone on the coaching staff believed. But after that defensive stand, well, lack of defensive stand that gave up 17 plays to Oklahoma State, I thought it's just not BYU's night. They're going to have a 1 in that loss column, and it's not going to be the undefeated ride that we thought it could be coming out of that game, but they pulled it off. And Jake Retzlaff connected with Darius Lassiter, and BYU pulled off an amazing win that, honestly, I think is one of the great wins in the Kalani Sitake era, not because of the opponent, but just the way it finished. And that's my takeaway number 1, is that BYU was clutch when they needed to be. You think about BYU football over the years and some of the great quarterbacks. You know, there's many quarterbacks, and I point to John Beck, someone who I believe is one of the all-time greats in BYU football history, at a place that knows quarterback play. And for the longest time, John Beck was always viewed as someone, he didn't have it. Cougar Nation always said, he doesn't have it. He can't get it done. And he had so many games that he was close, but couldn't get over the hump. And, you know, Jake Retzlaff had moments where he couldn't get over the hump last year. Think back to Stillwater when they were in double overtime. Get the job. He did put them in position to get to overtime in the fourth quarter. But still, it was always close, but he didn't get the job done. He'd only go so far. I think the fact that he got it done in a late game situation, I just feel gives a world of confidence to BYU, because there are going to be games this season where it's not going to work well for BYU, as we saw last Friday. But now that they've got the confidence that Jake Retzlaff, of all people, of all quarterbacks, can get done in a late game situation and generate a scoring drive for this team, I just think it unlocks another gear to this group that's playing at such a high level. You don't get to 7-0 by a fluke. I'm tired of people saying this is fluky. How good is BYU? Yes, every team in college football this year has got its warts. Everyone's got their flaws. But this BYU team is really good, and it's one of the best in college football. And honestly, I think they're getting slept on a bit. They should be much higher than number 11 in the AP Top 25 poll. To me, they should be around 7 or 8. But to have Jake Retzlaff deliver in the clutch, and Darius Laster, who banged up his shoulder a little bit, nothing serious, earlier in the game, and for him to deliver in that moment, it was huge for BYU because I just think that gives another layer of confidence to this team. They always had this quiet confidence that none of us understood in the summer, in the player-ran practices, but now it just shows that it doesn't matter what the circumstances are thrown at this team, they are going to rise to the occasion and deliver. Whether it's a defensive rock fight in Dallas at SMU, whether it's a pretty high-scoring game against Oklahoma State where the run defense is non-existent, Jake Retzlaff and the offense will come through, even on a night where Jake is throwing some picks and Hinkler Opati's getting in the action, throwing a pick as well. BYU will find a way to get it done, and I just think that does a world of good for this BYU team, that no matter the circumstances, they can rise to the occasion and pull through and get a victory. Takeaway number 2 for me centers around L.J. Martin. 20 carries, 120 yards for the sophomore running back out of El Paso, Texas. L.J. was brilliant. On a night where Ollie Gordon was sensational for Oklahoma State, he reminded all of us of why he was the Doak Walker Award winner last season. L.J. Martin was just as good, and it showed you when you're seeing a Doak Walker Award candidate on the other sideline and you're thinking, LJ looks just as good, maybe better. That speaks to his talent because far too often I think LJ has been slept on by BYU fans. I don't think he's been appreciated enough, and I think a lot of that was due to last season's ineptitude on the offense, that there wasn't appreciation for how good LJ can be. Coming into this year, I always felt that it was puzzling BYU didn't get a transfer portal running back. Guilty as charged. I was one of those people questioning that. It's worked out okay, but I never questioned the ability of L.J. Martin being a star RB1 at BYU. He's got so much potential. I thought it was interesting today, too. Aaron Roderick on his Coordinator's Corner program said, for the first time in a while, you were seeing BYU's offense ran similar to the way it was when Tyler Algier was in the backfield. And, again, that speaks to LJ's talent. LJ's got an ability on the high end to be an all-timer at BYU. I believe that. I don't know if he's going to be a single-season rushing leader like Tyler or be an all-time career leader like Jamal Williams. He's been obviously banged up quite a bit, and he acknowledged that dealing with those injuries, maybe hurt his confidence a little bit, but now his confidence is finding its groove. And that's exciting because in that game against Oklahoma State, he looked like a running back that was fresh, and because he has not taken many hits this season. And with only 5 games left in the regular season, that's exciting that now you're catching full wind of what L.J. Martin can be in this offense. Because, they're 7-0, and in only one game this year, this past Friday, did the running game put fear in an opponent. Jake Retzlaff has done his thing on the ground, and he's still BYU's leading rusher. But now you've got LJ, you've got Hinckley Ropati, who's playing some good ball. Sione Aimoa, hopefully, he can play this week against UCF. It's still let's get him healthy. I would expect definitely for the Utah game he's going to be available, but he's there. You still got Miles Davis. It's a good running back unit, and that's exciting for BYU as they continue to move forward into this season. But, this year has been a theme of statements for BYU. And statement number 7 against Oklahoma State was a great one for Kalani Sitake.
Statement 7 was just hey, find a way to win. It's a good team win. I can't sit there and say like one phase in all 3 phases that one was the key, but all 3 just stuck together and we just found a way to get a win.
It was a good win too. The atmosphere was electric. I'll give you another takeaway before we get to a break. How about that atmosphere? The drone show was electric. We had intern Allie holding it down, recording that. Great content there. I love that. I thought that just added an element to the pregame atmosphere. You got Cosmo on the top of the scoreboard. I was talking to Matt Biamonte over the week, and I thought, think about the 2 weeks of Cosmo. He goes parachute gliding. He's twirling a fire knife. He had a Houdini act. He's on top of the scoreboard at LES. Is there anything Cosmo can't do? That guy, if anyone, he needs a bye week. So give that man a break as BYU goes on the road this week to take on the UCF Knights. A little bit lighter workload on the road for Cosmo than what he does in Provo, holding it down. But it was an amazing atmosphere this past weekend as the Cougs get it done over Oklahoma State. Cougar Nation's brought to you by Central Bank, serving Utah County for over 133 years with trusted service, modern technology, and personalized care. We'll take a break. On their side, we'll check in with Matt Baiamonte, get his thoughts and his takeaways from the win over Oklahoma State, and then we'll take your phone calls coming up around the bottom of the hour as well. It's Cougar Nation, sponsored by Central Bank, right here on KSL News Radio.
You do countless things without a second thought to protect your family and home. Every time you're in the car, you buckle your seatbelt. Before the next load of laundry, you remove the dryer lint. When you head out, you always lock your doors. And one simple task, done far less often, can protect your family and home this winter. Schedule a furnace inspection by a certified heating contractor to check for safety and efficiency. A friendly reminder from Enbridge Gas.
Join KSL in the movie show this Friday, 10 to 1 at the Salt Lake NPS store, 1600 Empire Road in Salt Lake City, npsstore.com.
Spooky decorations and spooky costumes don't have to mean spooky dirt, grime, and spills. Zero Res wants to help you eliminate the dirt from all the foot traffic. Get your entire home Zero Resified with Zero Res's flash sale of 3 rooms for $109 and a hallway clean free. Don't miss this flash sale. This offer disappears Friday. Don't let a missed flash sale haunt you. Schedule at ZeroRes.com or call 801-2880 and ask for the 3 rooms for $109 and a hallway cleaned free.
This is Derek Overstreet of the New Millennium Group and host of Stop Working and Start Living Radio. If you're close to or in retirement and you don't have a tax plan, call us right now, 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. Listen, our country's been spending like never before, and the tax bill is coming soon. If you need an income tax strategy and a financial plan that will get you through the rest of your life, give my team a call, 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. If you want an investment plan that allows you to keep more of your gains and pay less taxes, give us a call, 888-999-6370. My team specializes in the type of plan that will get you retired 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible. So, get a no-cost tax analysis by calling 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. My team is standing by now.
How many things affect your life as much as slow traffic and bad weather? Listen tomorrow morning for traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back in, Cougar Nation, on this Monday evening. Hope all of you are having a fantastic start to your week. Mitch Harper here with you at Broadcast House. This show sponsored by Central Bank, and if you ever missed the program, subscribe to the podcast. Leave a 5-star rating and a review. It helps out the show a lot. Check it out on KSLSports.com or wherever you get your podcast. Expecting to be joined by Matt Baiamonte coming up here shortly. Matt away, do some family priors he had to attend to, so we'll check in with Matt here shortly. But I wanted to get your calls, Cougar Nation, 801-575-8255. Load them up right here. During this segment, we'll talk some BYU football, and I want to ask you this question. Are you feeling more confident about this BYU team winning the Big 12 after that win over Oklahoma State? We're getting a few texts, but I want to hear some phone calls right now. 801-575-8255. I'll tell you, and I got a text here in the opening segment. I said that I feel like BYU should be around 7 or 8 in the AP Top 25 poll. Texter 5891, or excuse me, 2318 said BYU is not a number 7 team right now. Why? Tennessee's number 7 right now. They're 6-1. Tennessee lost to Arkansas. Arkansas beat Oklahoma State. BYU beat Oklahoma State. Like, you can play this. I know that's the transitive property thing, but college football is, there's so much parity in the sport. The transfer portal, NIL, it's created this situation where the 12-team playoff era has arrived in the perfect time because there are so many teams that can win and operate at a high level. BYU's got talent. I think people are falling victim too much to just looking at the logo and looking at the recruiting rankings and thinking, there's no way BYU can be a top 10 team. Why not? Why not? This offensive line is really good. You're getting production from Bruce Mitchell, Austin Leausa, players that no one was talking about coming into the season. They're performing at a high level. Oklahoma State's got good personnel, and you took their best shot. Oklahoma State was coming out of a bye, and they threw a lot of different looks at BYU, as we expected they would. I mean, Mike Gundy teams are excellent coming out of bye weeks. Last year, they took down Kansas State. When they were 2-2 out of the bye, they took down the Wildcats and got a big win that changed the entire outlook of their season. So I think that was a really impressive win. I get tired of just when you have a close win, people then think, oh, you're not that good. Just find a way to win. Survive and advance. That's all that matters, because with the 12-team playoff, you're going to get in that field and you're going to have a chance to compete for the playoff. But I do think that the AP pollsters are sleeping on BYU. I was impressed, though, that they did rank BYU higher than Notre Dame. I was surprised by that. It's well-deserved, because Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois, who's been a terrible football team this year. They're only 4-3. The Huskies are. So I'm glad that the pollsters got that right. But usually you just look at those logos and think, oh, Notre Dame's going to be better than BYU. Always right. I'm glad that people saw through that. Kalani Sitake, though, is not getting caught up in the outside noise, that's for sure. But he does acknowledge that win against Oklahoma State, it was good for the program.
We just got to keep improving, getting better. But can't deny the opportunity for us to celebrate the win. It was good for the program, good for our team, good for the offense, and good for the players.
It was a good win for BYU, and it does give me more confidence that this team is built to win a Big 12 championship, that's for sure. 801-575-8255. You can get on the phone lines with us and load them up here. 801-575-8255. Are you more confident that BYU can win a Big 12 title after that performance over Oklahoma State? We can get out to Linda. Linda, what's on your mind?
Oh, I am definitely confident that we'll win the Big 12, hopefully. I'm hoping, and I got my fingers crossed. That game the other night was a fantastic game. I loved it, and I managed to stay awake and listen to the whole thing, and I was so glad. That was just fantastic at the end when Jake was running for the touchdown, and then he threw it, and then the Lassiter got it. Oh, that was so good. Darius Lassiter. That was wonderful.
That it was. Thanks for the call, Linda. Appreciate that. That moment from Darius Lassiter was pretty special. And Lassiter's become a really good football player for BYU. I don't think anyone thought of him as a wide receiver number one, and I still wouldn't put him as that. I'd still say Chase Roberts is the best receiver on this team, but you can't deny that Darius has improved significantly. I think you're looking at him potentially as a guy that, maybe could be an undrafted free agent, high priority, maybe 7th-round draft pick. It's tough for wide receivers because there's just so many good pass catchers in college football that it's hard to imagine if you don't have the elite measurables to be an NFL guy. But Lassiter's highly productive. He's still got to tighten up those drops, though, a little bit. But I love what I'm seeing from Darius Lassiter. We're getting some more texts, though. Keep calling in, 801-575-8255. BYU should be cautious, 5134 writes. They are always hot midway through the season and let it go to their heads. Stay hungry and humble. That's an interesting point. I will say, on Friday it was kind of interesting to me. I saw like a wave of BYU players posting personal images of themselves in their football gear on Instagram. And I'm, look, it's just an Instagram post, right? It's just social media. You're killing time to the late night kick. It's an 8:15 kick on a Friday. They're at the team hotel at the Marriott off Center Street. I get it. You're looking to kill the day, but I'm kind of wondering, are they getting a little bit into the loving the likes, the engagement, the interaction that winning is bringing to this team? Is that getting a little bit to them? Maybe that caused them to come out a little bit flat, maybe. But I do like the mindset, though, of this team. I do. And I think they've got good leadership. Kalani's pointed to that quite a bit. But I do believe that this team is in a good place mentally. And I think it was a nice little bit of a wake-up call that you've got to get a lot better, particularly on the defensive side. The ground attack for Oklahoma State was highly productive. They had more than 260 yards against BYU's defense, and I do attribute some of those new looks. The quarterback run game was unexpected. No one was seeing Alan Bowman taking off and running. First off, I mean, he wasn't expected to start, and then when he comes in, he's still running the football. That was unexpected, and that's just classic Mike Gundy for you at Oklahoma State, the head coach of the Pokes. And Mike Gundy notes, when you talk about the Big 12 and this race, anyone can beat anyone in the Big 12.
Oh, I mean, I've said it for a couple years, and said it in the summer, and I'll say it again. I think that any team in this league is vulnerable on any day. I think that there's guys in this conference that know how to coach football, and there's players in this conference that know how to play. And based on how the ball bounces and a turnover or two, just about anybody can beat anybody, in my opinion.
Good stuff there from Mike Gundy. I thought he was pretty candid in the post-game press conference. You can see that full presser if you missed it on the KSL Sports YouTube. Texter 6168 says, I like the thought of the transitive properties and playing the who beat who game, but using the eye test and your honest heart, not a biased one. But honestly, do you think BYU beats Tennessee and deserves a number 7 ranking? Look, BYU would probably be an underdog. You know, I'm referencing Tennessee as the number 7 team in the country, but keep in mind, Tennessee's best defensive player was a former BYU guy until he got injured, Keenan Pili. So it's not like BYU doesn't have talent. Like BYU guys that transfer and go to these higher programs, they become studs for these programs. BYU's got talent. So much of college football is based on narrative, and they can't stomach the idea that a new face might be, ruffling the feathers of the structure of the sport. Like, oh my gosh, someone from the outside the SEC and Big Ten might be good. Like Iowa State has a close call against a athletic, talented UCF team. Not a great UCF team, but they have a close call and they drop. Like, that just doesn't compute to me why we see that in the sports. Like, you win a football game against a Power 4 team, you should be rewarded and commended for that instead of, no, they're going to drop them because, well, that logo's better than this one, and we like that one better, so we're going to put them higher. Like, why not? Square it all. Let's see BYU and Tennessee in a playoff game. I think BYU would show up quite well. BYU has passed every test they've faced so far to date. SMU's 6-1 in the ACC. They have a chance to go win the ACC. That was a good win. So BYU's playing some good football. I think that in college football today, anyone can go down on any given week, and the same can be said about the Big 12, and that's why BYU has a great chance to win the Big 12 conference, but at the same time, they got to be playing their A game every single week in order to win that conference. Let's take a break, though. News, traffic, and weather. Then we'll get to Matt Baiamonte next for what's trending up and trending down with BYU football.
Good evening, 6:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Kaplan. KSL's top local story this hour. The election season. There seems to be more people campaigning as third-party candidates in Utah. KSL at Night co-host Maura Carabello says we've been able to see a lot more of these third-party candidates, for instance, at this year's debates.
Mostly showing up in the Libertarian Party this year and the United Utah Party, which those of you who don't remember United Utah a handful of years ago, it's essentially a slightly right-of-center group that split off a little from the Republican Party because they felt like they weren't represented.
Carabello says these third-party candidates don't expect to win office, but more, they're sending a message to the Utah Republican Party. KSL's top national story this hour from ABC News. A Republican county supervisor in Arizona was charged with delaying certification of the 2022 midterm elections, has pleaded guilty.
Peggy Judd and another Republican Cochise County supervisor were indicted last year for allegedly refusing to certify the midterm election, citing baseless concerns about the voting system. Judd now pleading guilty to misdemeanor charges of failing to perform duties by an election officer, will be sentenced to unsupervised probation for 90 days and a $500 fine. Arizona's Attorney General saying in response to the guilty plea that any attempt to interfere with elections in Arizona will not be tolerated. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Coming up, warmer, drier weather, but then it's going to get cold again. We'll tell you when. Stay here. The KSL forecast is next. KSL News Time, 6:32.
Want to avoid getting sick this fall? Getting your immunizations is a classic approach. You can protect yourself against the flu, RSV, pneumonia, and COVID. Does that sound like music to your ears? Then talk to a doctor or healthcare provider. And visit uptodate.utah.gov to learn more.
Do you have chirping smoke detectors? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and if you've ever experienced chirping smoke detectors, you already know how annoying it can be. A great first step to try and stop the chirping is to change the batteries. If the chirping continues, it's possible that your smoke detector has gone bad. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't even realize that manufacturers recommend replacing the smoke detector altogether after 10 years. If you remove the smoke detector from the wall, on the back you should find a date of when it was made. Do a little math and you'll know how old it is. Now, Any Hour Services knows being a homeowner means you've got a list a mile long of things to do around the house, and check my electrical system probably isn't one of them. That's why we've put together this radio special for any homeowners listening. One of our licensed electricians will perform a comprehensive inspection of your electrical system that includes testing those smoke detectors and give you a full written report for only $29. But you have to mention this ad when you call. Call Any Hour Services to schedule at 801-443-7300. 801-443-7300. Any Hour Services.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I met Good Feet. I'm so glad that those arch supports are in my shoes. I have terrible foot issues that prevented me from really having a normal life with my kids. With the Good Feet arch supports, man, I'm always ready. My kids actually got to enjoy me in the yard more, racing each other, backpedaling, teaching them some things, being a dad. If I had known about the Good Feet arch support earlier, I would have more than one championship. I would have 2 championship rings.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store. Walk-ins welcome. Or visit goodfeet.com for more information.
Sign up for KSL text alerts. Get breaking news and traffic updates by texting the word news to 57500. Want access to exclusive contests? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking jazz updates. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply.
We're just 14 days away from the historic 2024 election.
I'm running for governor because you deserve partisanship, not unchecked power.
It's been an honor of a lifetime to serve as your governor. We've accomplished so much together.
Do your homework and get your ballot in the mail. Election week is coming, and we have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Ricky Meese.
It is emergency traffic. We have a couple of problems that we're dealing with. One is the remainder of the accident that we had westbound I-80 prior to the 201 junction. Still there, still causing heavy delays, about 4 to 5 miles worth of slowing back past the Great Salt Lake. Our other issue is an accident with injuries. They may be bringing more medical emergency crews to the scene. This is on the transition ramp from northbound I-15 to go westbound on I-80. And right now they are blocking a right lane of travel, and it is backing traffic. In fact, traffic is at a complete standstill on those transition ramps from I-15 to go to I-80. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
The KSL weather forecast. We're expecting 49 degrees overnight, 72 for tomorrow. You know, the coldest temperature we're expecting this week, early Friday morning in Salt Lake City, it'll be 42 degrees. But right now, 68. I'm Jeff Kaplan, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Be ready for BYU Game Day. Download the KSL News Radio app to stream BYU games, plus breaking news during the week. That's the app for KSL News Radio.
Welcome back into Cougar Nation, your weekly check-in where we hear from the voice of Cougar Nation here on KSL News Radio. I'm Mitch Harper, your BYU insider for KSL Sports. You can check out all my bylines on KSLSports.com. We'll be holding it down this Saturday, 9 a.m. Extended pregame coverage, BYU, UCF from Orlando. Number 11 Cougs going to be taking on the UCF Knights. Only the fourth ever meeting between these two programs. Third meeting in the regular season. First time BYU is going to go to the bounce house since 2014, excuse me. So it's been about 10 years. Remember that last visit to Orlando was in the year where BYU was almost undefeated. They had lost the week prior to Utah State. Taysom Hill went down with an injury. Christian Stewart stepped in and had a valiant effort, but BYU came up short in overtime to UCF this week. Obviously looking for a better performance this time around against a Knights team that's somewhat down and out at the moment. They're 3-4 on the season, currently on a 4-game losing streak. But myself and Matt Baiamonte, my co-host here on Cougar Nation, he's away tonight, but we're checking in with him now. Matt, how are you this evening?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys doing?
Doing great, Matt. And BYU is 7-0, riding high. This amazing wave of momentum for Cougar football is so high right now, and I think it's time for us over the phone here to get into what's trending with the Cougars as they continue this hot momentum.
Cougar Nation, trending. What's trending up and what's trending down this football season?
All right, Matt, what's trending up for you right now for BYU football?
Trending up for me is confidence in key situations that BYU football can get wins. What happened on Friday night, that final drive and getting the win late in the game, that doesn't happen very often. And you saw throughout the weekend, Mitch, a number of games where it didn't happen. And there was another Big 12 game in which it did. Iowa State miraculously holding on against UCF. But most of the time, you don't succeed in those situations. And for BYU to have done that offensively, that gave me some confidence. We've seen it defensively this year a couple of times, but we hadn't seen it offensively. 73 seconds to go, they march down the field and get the game-winning touchdown. I feel better situationally that if you need a game-winning drive, this team has been there and they've done that. What about you?
I like that a lot. I think what's trending up for me is the play of Darius Lasser. I talked about him in the previous segment, but 6 catches, 129 yards, a touchdown. Obviously, that touchdown was massive. And then we forget the opening play of the game, a 50-yard bomb between him and Retzlaff. I just think Lassiter is playing at a pretty high level, and I think he can get better if he just cleans up those drops. That's been kind of a common occurrence for this BYU team. The last 3 games, they've had 3 or 4 drops in all 3 of these last couple games. So hopefully they clean that up, but I do love the play of Lassiter. On the flip side, Matt, what do you feel is trending down for this BYU football team?
It's the run defense, and it's a real concern this week when the Cougs go out to humid Orlando, Florida, because you saw what Central Florida did on the road in Ames. They ran all over that Cyclone defense, and I don't know on the road if you can sustain a win if the Knights run for over 300 yards like they did against Iowa State. So I was a little concerned about the run defense. Look, in Oklahoma State, they've got a great running back, Ollie Gordon. We know how legit he is, but you look across the Big 12, Mitch, there's a lot of great running backs. And UCF has a really, really talented running back as well. So run defense is not trending in the right direction. I love the yards per play numbers. I love the scoring defense, and I love the takeaways. They're one of the most opportunistic defenses in the Big 12 when it comes to takeaways. But if you can't stop the run, that's going to come back to get you at some point. So, unfortunately, I feel like that rush defense is heading in the wrong direction.
And along those same lines for me, it's got to be just tackling. I thought the tackling was pretty poor from BYU. Kalani Sitake kind of noted that, they were kind of overextending, trying a little bit too hard. It felt like, BYU was not themselves, not the BYU team that we've grown to know this season, where they're just this stout defense and they can get off the field. I just think that has got to get cleaned up here in a hurry, because you noted it. UCF has a very good ground attack with R.J. Harvey. And I think even though despite UCF losing this past weekend to Iowa State, I still believe that performance against a top 10 team gave UCF a little bit of confidence going into this BYU game that they can compete against anyone. So they're not going to be afraid against BYU. And they're almost going to be, in many respects, feels like they're going to be licking their chops that they feel like they can take this thing to a higher level.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because coming into that game, it sort of felt like with UCF players hitting the transfer portal, going on the road, that season could implode for UCF. And that was a really impressive performance, because there's moments in a season when it's not going your way. Does the team band together and figure it out and salvage the season? Look, UCF, they're not going to have the season they wanted to have. Some people thought they were going to be in the mix for a Big 12 championship game. That's out the window. They're not competing for a Big 12 championship. And so you wonder sometimes with these teams, are they just going to fold and explode? And then they go on the road and have a performance like that. The players that are still in that program, I think that was a bonding moment for them to be like, hey, you know what? Let's stick together. Let's play well. Maybe we can spoil someone else's season. That's kind of what BYU was doing last year. Whereas, like, can we give Oklahoma a loss? Can we keep Oklahoma State out of the Big 12 championship game? Those things did not happen. But a team can rally and sort of find itself. And so I'm totally with you on that. I kind of wanted them to get blown out, because then I would have felt like maybe they would just fold up shop and that would be an easy win. But now it looks like this UCF game, it's going to be a lot more difficult than we originally thought.
I also think for BYU, what's trending up, and, it's crazy to say this because when you look at the whole game, Jake wasn't great, but man, he was clutch at the end. And I feel like Jake's trending up after that game, but you look at the final stat line, 13 of 26, 2 interceptions, 218 through the air, but I mean, he was clutch when he needed to be.
I love that, Mitch, because you look at the numbers and you would just say this is an average performance. But then you really go back and rewatch the game, and now we're starting to see some of the Pro Football Focus grades come out, where he was one of the highest graded quarterbacks in all of college football last week, and you're wondering, how does that make sense? Because these aren't great completion numbers, the yardage numbers aren't high, he had turnovers. But when you really break it down, there was only 1 or 2 really bad decisions. That interception right before the half, that was not ideal, and that could have been disastrous, but that was a Hail Mary situation. So that's not a bad decision. Maybe he should have taken the sack when there wasn't an opportunity to really get a good throw on it. But the only really poor decision I can remember in that game was when they were in scoring position and he threw it to the end zone in the northeast corner, and it got picked off, and you're saying, hey, you have at least 3 points. You can't do that. But then in the second half, he led multiple scoring drives. They scored 24 points in the second half, Mitch. And then that game-winning drive, his ability to run. And the thing that I like, too, about Jake's running ability is, yes, there are a few quarterback-designed runs. We see that. But a good chunk of his yardage is on a passing play that breaks down. He gets out of the pocket and takes off and gets some positive yards. I just think Jake, sometimes we throw this word around too much, but Jake is a gamer. And we've seen this in multiple games now. When you need something big from Jake in this offense, more times than not, he has delivered this season. And I think he's trending up. He's getting better every single week. Still, you got to clean up those mistakes. And in some respect, Mitch, maybe those mistakes are a part of who he is, because he makes a lot of chunk plays. And if you're going to have chunk plays and game-winning drives and 27-yard runs and an occasional pick, sign me up for that, because it's resulting in wins.
Well said. I think Jake Retzlaff's the last time a BYU quarterback had a touchdown game-winning drive with a minute or less was Tanner Mangum, Zach Wilson, Jaron Hall. They didn't have what Jake Retzlaff just pulled off this weekend. So we got to give credit to Jake Retzlaff for that performance. Got to give credit to you, Matt, for hopping on the line when you got busy family stuff to attend to. You'll be back in the saddle next Monday, but then you'll be with me out in Orlando on Saturday. We'll have extended pregame beginning at 9 a.m.
Oh, it's going to be a blast. I cannot wait for this one. Look, I couldn't pass up an opportunity to talk about this team, because how often are they 7-0, Mitch? This just does not happen every single year, where it's a special season right now, and you got to enjoy every second of it.
Well said. That's Matt Baiamonte, host of Cougar Nation. He'll be back again, like I said, next Monday here with us. I'll talk to you later, Matt.
Yeah, take care, Mitch. Have a good night, everyone.
All right, that's Matt Baiamonte, and this show is sponsored by Central Bank, serving Utah County for over 133 years with trusted service, modern technology, and personalized care. Central Bank Go to centralbank.com. We'll take a break, and Cougar Nation will take more of your phone calls, 801-575-8255. Do you feel more confident this team can win the Big 12 after that win over Oklahoma State? Let's hear from you next, 801-575-8255, right here on Cougar Nation.
Miles, you're late. Again.
You are not living
Where have you
to
been?
your full potential.
No sense of responsibility.
This is Kevin Love. I've partnered with The Spider Within, a Spider-Verse story to let you know that everyone's going through something, even superheroes.
Oh man, I'm bugging.
Is that the best you can do?
You're not reaching your full potential. Unacceptable, Miles.
Let's take the stigma out of asking for help.
Hey Dad, you got a minute?
Yeah, what's up, son?
Can we get some air?
Of course we can, yeah. Grab your jacket.
I just got so much on my mind, you know?
I hear that, yeah. So tell me what's going on.
It's just like homework, girls, well, one girl.
If you need support, visit kevinlovefund.org to learn more.
For over 133 years, Central Bank has been a cornerstone of Utah County, providing generations of families and businesses with trusted community banking services, and are more than just a bank. Central Bank is part of Utah's legacy. With 12 convenient locations across Utah County, Central Bank combines the strength of traditional customer service with the convenience of modern technology. Customized one-to-one service means you're never just another account number, and your phone call actually rings to a real person.
Hi there, thanks for calling Central Bank.
Voted best bank and best mortgage in Utah Valley, Central Bank is here to help you with all your financial needs. From top SBA lending services for small businesses and quick turnaround times on construction loans. They're dedicated to helping you build your future. Whether you're cheering for the Cougars or building your dream home, trust the bank that's been here since the beginning. Central Bank, strong, local, secure, since 1891. Online at cbutah.com or any of 12 Utah County locations. Central Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Hey, what are you doing up on the step stool?
About to clean these light fixtures. The whole family's coming over, and if there's even a speck of dust in the house, my abuela will find it.
Here, I got a Swiffer duster to help with that.
A Swiffer what?
A Swiffer duster. It has this cool extendable handle that reaches 6 feet to get high and low, with fluffy dusters that easily trap and lock dust.
So no more step stool?
No more step stool.
Easily trap and lock dust from hard-to-reach places with the Swiffer duster. Love it or your money back.
Spend your workday with a talk show that makes you feel better about the news.
Debbie is the voice of reason, and Dave reminds me of my little brother. Well-spoken, and they're a great team together.
Dave and Debbie, live from 9 to noon, or podcast the show on the app for KSL News Radio.
Cougar fans, use this radio station tomorrow morning for important news updates. Listen to Utah's most important radio station tomorrow morning from 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back into Cougar Nation, sponsored by Central Bank, 801-575-8255. Feel free to call in. Share your thoughts if you're more optimistic now that BYU is going to win the Big 12 after that win over Oklahoma State. Got a text, 1786, stop drinking the blue Kool-Aid. You escape by poor tackling on a crappy Oklahoma State team. The defense lets up a lot of points. That will come back to get them. Well, that's true. They did get by. But what are you measuring them by? Are you measuring them up against Georgia? If you're trying to measure BYU up to the standard of Georgia, well, yeah, that's a lost cause. But can you not appreciate that at this point they've gotten to 7-0, and 5 of those opponents have been against power conference teams? What's the issue here? Yes, everyone's going to have downsides. And if you're looking for perfection, then you're going to be upset all the time as a fan. You're never going to be happy. You're going to, why would you take on the role of Kalani? of always seeking perfection. That's for the coaches. For the fans, why are you seeking perfection here out of this team? Like, yes, there's gonna be some games where you're a little bit frustrated and you're thinking, why are they playing this way? But what's different this year compared to years past is that you do have talent to overcome this and hope that that was just a one-off performance. I have reason to believe that Jack Kelly, Isaiah Glasker, Tyler Batty, Blake Mangelson, John Nilsson are not going to let that be a thing again with that run defense. I have a lot of belief in this defense. If they didn't have talent, I'd say sound the alarm. This is a fool's gold deal where BYU has just got by the skin of their teeth. Look, you look at what BYU's done to this point. The win over Baylor, I think in the season's end, is going to end up looking pretty good for BYU because Baylor, they went on the road and just tore apart Texas Tech, and they put up 59 points in that game. Sawyer Robertson is playing some really good ball. Now, Texas Tech, terrible defense. You want to talk about bad defenses? That's Texas Tech. No sign of them changing at all. BYU's a good defense. They just had, I believe, an off night. I believe in Jay Hill, too. So I think BYU's resume and what they've done to this point should be given more credit than what being at 11. Like, yes, was it ideal how that game played out and you're giving up a 17-play drive? No, but I think, again, you've seen a lot more good from the defense than bad. Now, the offense, I still have my moments where I'm not ready to just go all in and say they've arrived. But I do have to give credit to Jake Retzlaff. When he is doubted, he always answers the bell this year. He's done a really good job of proving critics wrong and finding a way to get an answer. And that's all you can ask for. But again, if you're looking to compare BYU to the Georgias of the world, I think that's a mistake. But keep in mind, though, and I keep going to this point, college football, there's more parity than ever. The number one team in the country this year, they only won by 10 over Idaho in the FCS ranks. That's the number one team in the country. No one brings that up, but they won by 10 over an FCS team. Should people suddenly panic because Oregon only won by 10? Should BYU fans panic because you only won by 3 over Oklahoma State, who less than a year ago was in the Big 12 title game? No, that's all I'm saying. There's weeks where you're not at your complete best. But I believe that there's enough leadership and good coaching in place that they're going to bounce back. Now, it's tricky this week because you do have a short week with UCF. You're going to travel out on Thursday, and so it is another condensed week for BYU, so they better be dialed in. UCF has an excellent running back, similar to Ollie Gordon. R.J. Harvey is an absolute stud. The benchmark for R.J. Harvey, if he gets to 150, odds are high UCF will win. They are 3-1 in games this year when R.J. Harvey goes off for 150 or more on the ground. The one loss this past weekend, he had 196 yards against the number one defense in the Big 12 in Iowa State. So, yes, I understand there's reason to be a little bit worried, but I think that BYU's better equipped personnel-wise to bounce back in a hurry than in years past. UCF's got a new quarterback, too, Jakari Brown, which is a fascinating development because in the offseason when they signed KJ Jefferson from Arkansas, I thought, BYU's going to play KJ Jefferson for the third consecutive year. He's been terrible, though. He got benched 2 weeks ago. They played E.J. Colson, a redshirt freshman. He played poorly against Cincinnati. And then they take in Jakari Brown, the third stringer, and he can't throw the ball a lick. Now, I know Gus Malzahn, the UCF head coach, praised him in his weekly press conference today with having one of the biggest arms in college football. But if the Iowa State game is any indication, the throwing game is not a threat for BYU. So they got to be dialed into stopping the run, stack that box, and force UCF to pass at all costs. And I think BYU can have some success. And I think what gives me hope, too, for BYU to not let those run defense woes continue is that they're relatively healthy. Outside of Sione Moa, the linebacker, number 41, Che Bryant Strother, this is a pretty healthy group. Now, everyone's got their bangs and bruises and things like that, but the key guys, they're there in place, and they're available, which credit to Dr. Skylar Main, Colby Clausen, so much talk about the sports scientists and the strength and conditioning staff. Those guys have done a really good job, and BYU players, by all accounts, going into game number 8 before a bye week, they're in a pretty good spot health-wise to get ready for that final stretch. And BYU in a Big 12 conference that's pretty wide open, I think they're the best team right now. I've watched every team in this 16-team conference. I try to go back and watch as many games as I can on DVR, on demand, watch these games. And BYU's got the personnel. They've got the talent. I think that's where fans are sleeping on this team still. Like when you watch the fellow Big 12 peers, BYU stacks up just as well from a measurables, from a size. They've got the personnel to win this thing. And this is not a smoke and mirrors sort of deal. We got to also acknowledge, too, BYU has had some blowout wins over teams, too. So the close calls have not been a weekly occurrence. This is another week, though, against UCF where just find a way to get the win. Get in, get out, stay healthy, and get on to Utah and be 8-0. I don't care what the final score is. Just find a way to get the win and empty the tank as BYU gets ready for another bye week after this one when they take on the UCF Knights. It was kind of interesting, too. Kalani pointed out that it's a little bit of a homecoming. The first lady of BYU football, his wife, Timberly, she's from Florida, so there's going to be a lot of in-laws for Kalani supporting him in attendance at the Bounce House. I expect a pretty big crowd of BYU fans. There's a lot of BYU fans and members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints down in Florida. So I bet there'll be a huge turnout of BYU faithful showing up to the Bounce House. And I can't imagine that UCF fans are excited about the product right now, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of tickets unloaded by UCF fans coming up to this one. I saw some tickets on the secondary market around $28 to get in, which pretty reasonably priced to get in to see a number 11 team in the country take on someone out on the East Coast. So it's going to be a lot of fun. BYU, UCF, kickoff at 1:30. Extended pregame gets started bright and early with me and Matt Baiamonte from Orlando starting at 9 a.m. We'll get your game day started for the Cougs and the Knights. Only the 4th ever meeting between the two schools. It'll be the first as Big 12 foes. Appreciate all of you for tuning in. We appreciate Central Bank for sponsoring Cougar Nation. And again, next Monday, Matt Baiamonte will be back in studio with me. Subscribe to the podcast, and we will talk to you on Saturday from Orlando as your undefeated Cougars get ready to take on the UCF Knights. Talk to you then here on KSL News Radio.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 7 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Emma Keddington. KSL's top local story this hour. The Cottonwood Heights woman accused of killing her husband while he slept went to the police the day before covered in bruises. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera has the details.
The new details were revealed in a search warrant for Jennifer Gledhill's lover's cell phone. Those documents say Gledhill went to Cottonwood Heights police to report she had been beaten by her husband and asked them to take pictures of the bruises all over her body. She told police she wasn't sure if she fell asleep or lost consciousness after she was hit. It also states the officer she talked to saw